Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. Of course, we are here live ahead of Game Week 31, or should I say blank Game Week 31. Lots of chips are potentially going to be played this week. I think a lot of people probably didn't look ahead and plan for a blank Game Week. Of course, we've got the big decision around captaincy as well. Do you go for Bruno Fernandes or do you go Harry Wilson this week? Those seem to be the popular, I would say, captaincy picks for this Game Week. Of course, some people debating on whether I'd taken a -4. Lots to discuss in today's stream. Of course, if you do enjoy the content, you know the drill by now, ladies and gentlemen. Like, subscribe. Yeah, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, get your comments in. Of course, if you want to get your team reviewed, as always, it will be in the FPL cartel. I will post a link for that in the chat. But also, yeah, you know the drill. You know the drill by now. Looking in the chat already, some people looking at an Iwobi captain. And my mouse is just broken there. I don't know what's going off with this scroll bar today for the chat, but it's a bit broken at the moment. Hi, Tom. What would you consider the circumstances that make free hit a good chip this week? I really don't think the free hit is a good chip this week. I genuinely don't. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring week. I don't think there's going to be lots of goals. I think it's quite hard to call which way you're going to go in terms of like certain players and which, well, to be honest, a certain situation where a lot of games are going to go as well. So I don't think I could confidently say I would back a free hit this week. I'd rather play with 10 than use a free hit. I really would. Yo, man, my midfield is Sharda, Dango, Tavernier, Bruno, Rodgers, but I really like Wilson. Who do I sell? Oh, who do you sell out of there? Because Dango's up against Leeds, who are first for goals conceded to right wingers. Tavernier's on penalties and set piece and has been points dodging the past few weeks, and I could see him getting a decent return tonight. Bruno has just, well, he's just going to be probably your captain, isn't he, realistically? I guess Rodgers is the most out of form of all of them, but can you sell a Morgan Rodgers ahead of a West Ham at home? I don't think you can. I think, to be honest, it really is kind of a coin flip because I think you're damned if you don't, or you're damned if you do, really, in that situation. I think I probably would maybe stick with that midfielder. Look, I think Harry Wilson is a great player to have this game week. But I also believe a lot of that midfield you've got there are exceptional players who could also deliver the goods. I probably would be teetering and kind of maybe looking at Tavernier or Rodgers if I was going to sell one of those. But like I said, that realistically, like I said, you're going to probably be damned if you do and damned if you don't on that situation. Good morning. It is 1 o'clock in the afternoon here. Let me know where you're coming from, where it is morning. Hi, Tom. Thoughts on Rodgers to Gordon? Look, this is the thing. I don't think it's a bad fixture for Rodgers this week. I like Gordon, of course. Is a derby, so that maybe devalues him a little bit, but he's going to be playing number 9 probably. It should be on penalties, but he has been very, very trolly. So let's wait and see. Yeah. Yeah, we're basing the stuff off my obviously gut intuition and stuff like that. But I mean, the gut was wrong about Salah last week. So yeah, it is what it is. Abby's in the chat as well, one of our cartel members. She says, afternoon, everyone. The decision I've got to make this week is whether I buy João Pedro or Gordon. Oh, that is a toughie. I think from an EO kind of perspective, probably João Pedro is the one that could do a lot more damage than Gordon. So I probably maybe would go João Pedro. I also think he could actually have a pretty good game. He's been one of the most consistent players over the past few weeks as well. And Anthony Gordon, yeah, he is a bit of a slippy customer, isn't he? He is a little bit of a troll, isn't he? Morning, mate. Who are the teams most likely to double? So City are definitely going to get a double now at some point. Like, they've got obviously the Game Week 31 fixture to rearrange. So they're definitely getting a double. They might get 2 doubles if they beat Liverpool as well. Liverpool have to beat City for it to double. Who else is there? Arsenal potentially could double if they progress. They've got a high probability. Chelsea, Newcastle. It's kind of all dependent on the FA Cup. And the beautiful thing about if you are on a Wildcard 32 strategy is we have the FA Cup games next weekend. So we are going to be able to see what happens in the FA Cup before, of course, seeing who doubles. So that gives us a rough idea. of the teams we probably want to be looking to target over the next few weeks as well. Hey, the mighty coin is on fraud watch after last week. It told me to sell Haaland and buy João Pedro. That was just 2 for 2. And then told me to buy Salah and not only buy him, captain him ahead of Bruno Fernandes. So all I'm saying is the coin is on heavy fraud watch this week as well. Yeah, man, we'll take a look at Discord. Like I said, guys, if you do want to get your team reviewed by myself, the place to come and get that done is over in the FPL Cartel Discord. I'm going to put a link to that in the chat right now. Make sure you are coming and getting yourself involved in there. Obviously, lots of amazing stuff. We'll cover some model picks in a little bit as well. But yeah, there is a lot of good stuff. So yeah, let's head over to the Discord right now and take a look at the first team we've got in for review, and then we'll take a look at some model picks. Yeah, let's go for that. As you can see, very active Discord that we've got here. Some great members as always. Like I said, if you're going to send your team, click on the deadline button. And then obviously come to my stream. If you're in Golden Stream, go to his stream as well. So yeah, all good stuff there. Can you see my screen? Yeah, you can see my screen. Great stuff. Janice says, hi, thinking going Rice to Gordon or Palmer and Haaland to Pedro, Ekatike or Bowen. And is it best for me to use my wildcard in 32, bench boost in 33? I mean, that is kind of the set strategy, and it is strong for a reason. It is very, very strong for a reason because, like I said, it is absolutely ridiculous how good that could be. How many transfers you got? I'm thinking of going Rice to Gordon. Okay, so currently you've got 1, 2, so we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, Gui's not going to play. So you're gonna have to use both transfers. Rice to Gordon or Palmer, and Haaland to Pedro, Ekatike or Bowen. Okay. I probably would do Rice to Gordon. I think that's the move I would probably go for there. And then Haaland, I mean, João Pedro's high effective ownership. Ekatike could go off, and his minutes should be pretty decent. But Bowen is Mr. Consistent. I guess that's kind of it, isn't it? Is João Pedro is effective ownership route. Ekatike is explosive but inconsistent. But Jared Bowen is going to be like a steady 5 or 6 points you're probably going to get out of him. Nothing like Jared Bowen never puts up like mega scores, and that's kind of been always the case with him as an FPL asset. Never put up mega scores, but he is just so consistent. I personally think I would probably go Gordon and Pedro. Those would be the two that I would personally go for. But again, it depends on your risk appetite and who you think is going to do better this week. But that's personally how I would look at it. In terms of obviously my model picks for this game week then, if you want to get yourself involved with the FPL Tom model, it is available in the FPL Cartel Discord. But as you can see, here are the top picks for this upcoming game week then. So obviously Bruno Fernandes currently top, so 6.1 projected points for him. Harry Wilson at 5.5. Obviously Salah was in there at 5.2, but yeah, he is injured now. Rodgers, someone was asking about Rodgers earlier, 5.1 predicted points for him. João Pedro at 4.8. Dewsbury Hall at 4.8. By the way, this guy's points per game over the past 6 game weeks have been ridiculous. And as an asset as well, his points per game overall have been very, very decent. Above Anthony Gordon, as you can see here, Palmer, Malik Chow, a very popular defender that I think a lot of people could potentially look at as well this week. And Dye just for penalty appeal. Stack could be a nice option. Obviously hit those defensive contributions. Does take set pieces and there's a wonderful free kick taker as well. So he might be an option you potentially want to go for as well. No benching headaches this week. Literally, like, people aren't going to have benching headaches because they haven't got a bench. So it does make things a little bit easier, I guess. But also at the same time, it probably makes the stream a little bit like less active because people don't have like a decision to make on benchings, do they? They just go, well, I won't bench anyone because I've not got a bench. But yeah, that's probably about it. So yeah, like I said, that is my model if you want to come and get involved with it. Obviously, we do team ratings, we look at captaincy, we look at all that good jazz. If anybody wants any player picks as well, picking out, we can take a look. We can take a look for you guys. All right. There you go. Looks like Tom's getting some stick in his stream. Oof. Brutal. Right, let's get away from my model and let's head back to my team for this week then. Let's head back to my team and see what the chat has got going off. Salah to who? I mean, it is probably going to be Bruno Fernandes or Wilson, realistically. Are probably going to be the picks I would go for if you haven't already. Anthony Gordon probably comes in there. Then it's probably going to be like a Tavernier, a Dango. Yeah, and that's probably your pick you're realistically looking at. We have transfer headaches, though. Yeah, I guess that is the other side of things, isn't it? If you're enjoying today's stream, guys, let's hit that like button. Let's see if we can get up to 50 nice and early, as we always do. Petrovic or Dubravka? Oh, I probably would go Petrovic. Bournemouth at home are a tricky customer, so yeah, I probably would go. I would go Petrovic. Haaland to João Pedro, or one of me playing my mids to Wilson. I think it's such a toughie, isn't it? Because Wilson is such a great asset this week. And it is a case of, do you think one of those mids is going to get, underscore Wilson? If that's the case, then do that move. But I think the João Pedro move could also be pretty decent for this game week as well. Would you take a -4 to field 11? I think if I've got 10, I don't think I would probably take a -4 for it. I genuinely think this week is if you can put an 11 out, doesn't have to be the best 11, but if you can get an 11 out, it's probably going to be fine for this game week, right? This is going to be a week where I would recommend probably sitting on your hands. We're going to find out lots of information heading into game week 32. A lot of us will be on Wildcard, then bench boost, then free hit. Then after that, game week 36 and game week 37 could also be double game weeks. So what I would be recommending is holding my transfers. This is why I'm not probably going to replace Salah. Like, I would like Anthony Gordon for this week. He would be a nice option to go for, but what I am thinking of doing is just holding through. We wildcard next week. Then when I get to game week 35, I'm going to have free transfers in hand to, of course, potentially bring in any doublers for 36. So the City boys, the Palace boys, that then gives me enough wiggle room there to do those moves, right? So for me, that is the important step here is I think if you can get by with your team for this game week, sit on your hands, that is probably going to be the more optimal route to play this game this week. Obviously, a lot of people have probably got built-in value to Gabriel as well, so don't sell him. Haaland's pretty much his value's gone. I think it was like a 0.3 million sell for me. Semenyo, if you've had him since the start of the season, could also be an asset that you might want to hold on to because he's got immense value. He is going to be a player that you probably want to pick back up on the wild card because City are going to have at least one double game week, potentially 2 double game weeks. So that is also something to think about. We'll have a look at Tarkowski. Haven't seen any news just as yet, but let me have a check, see if David Moyes has done his press conference for today. Fantasy Football Scout. Sobersley could also be a pick for people asking about midfielders as well. But yeah, Salah's definitely out. What else have we had? Have we had the press conferences for today? When is... So Labrise is at 1:30. Silver at 1:30. Oh, there's loads at 1:30. So we'll try and keep you guys updated with the team news, of course, as that comes in across 1:30. Yeah, we'll keep you updated with the team news. All right? I got my chips left, all of them. You are in a fantastic position. Like I said, probably the strategy for you is wildcard next week, bench boost in 33, free hit in 34, then game week 36. You're hoping that City win that FA Cup game against Liverpool. That could then mean you've got a double game week to play your triple captain in. That's what I would realistically be doing over that time period. Looks like we've had a few more teams sent in, so we'll go and check those in a second. Like I said, if you want to get yourself involved in the FPL cartel, here is the link for that. Get yourself involved in there. Of course, we do the team ratings live on stream as always. You get plenty of other good stuff as well. We'll talk about captaincy in a minute because my mind is, it's still kind of going back and forth, really, isn't it? It is going back and forth. Obviously, we'll let the coin have a flick, but the coin's on fraud watch after last week. Right, let's go and let's, like I said, go ahead and take a look at, what is the thing I want to look at? Oh, the Discord. Here we are. Considering a hit to replace Salah, do I roll with 10 or replace Salah? Where do you think Palmer, when considering Gordon, Sobo as a Salah replacement? I think Szoboszlai is actually quite a good replacement in here for Salah, purely because he will be the penalty taker for Liverpool, and he's looking so good at the moment, right? So would I do a minus for it? I don't think I would. I probably would just roll through and play 10. I don't think it's going to be worth a minus. However, I probably then, if I were to look at any of the options, it would be Gordon or Sobbo. Sobbo could be very, very interesting if he is on penalties as well. He's going to be on penalties because Salah's out. So that could make him a very, very succulent option heading into this game week. Free transfers, 1.8 million in the bank. What would you recommend? So what have we got here? So you've got a back three. You've got 2 goalkeepers. You have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that? So 5 out, 3, 6, 7, 8. So you need 3 more players to realistically get through. So you're going to wildcard probably next week, right? So that's fine. So you're probably going to be looking to replace, in my opinion, Munoz, Rice, and probably Haaland. Depends what value you've got built into, obviously, Semenyo and Gabriel, but realistically, it's probably going to be Munoz. I would probably say Malik Chow. I think he's very high up on my models predictions. He would be like a very standard one to go for there. In terms of the midfielders, I think you've obviously got a Gordon and a Szoboszlai probably would be the ones in this position. Obviously, you've got some other options like an Anton Stack that could also be a pretty tasty snack. No pun intended there. And Haaland, it is going to be like João Pedro, Ekati, Gay, maybe a Bowen punt. But yeah, I think for me, I probably would go Munoz, Semenyo, Rice out and go Chow, Szoboszlai, Gordon. Those would be the ones I would go for. And just play Ekati Gay up front on his own. That's what I would go for. But yeah, let me know if you agree or disagree with that one. Right, let's have a look what we've got in here as well. Yeah, the Salah one stung last week. It really did sting a little bit last week. But it's one of them. It's one of them. Hey, Kerif, that's what I do, mate. That's what I do. They pay me the big bucks on here. Thank you very much for joining the FPL Tom fan pack. Do appreciate it. Of course, if you do want to become a channel member, it is 99p. You get some special emojis. You get priority in the chat. Yeah, I mean it's a nice thing. It does I think we receive like 70p of it. It's more for you guys than me. I've made it as cheap as possible. You also get access to some members only videos. A lot of them are outdated now, but we can start doing some more if we get a decent amount. Pepper said Trafford will start in the final and Donnarumma won't. I mean, fair enough. Fair enough is, yeah, it's just standard procedure, really, isn't it? Do you think Wilson is a long-term hold? Because I have Otara and I'm having headaches. Who should I have, Wilson or Otara? I don't think Wilson is a long-term hold. There is no Fulham doubles after this point. Like that's it. They're just going to be. For me, it's easy because I get this fixture and then I wildcard them all straight back out. But yeah, they're not going to be good long-term holds. They don't double. Start Dubravka or the Bergen. Oh, I probably would go Dubravka. Hi, I'm torn. O'Reilly to Chow or Rice to Wilson. I think if you're likely to wildcard, I would personally go for the Wilson option. Yeah, I personally would go for that one. Benching Salah and play Dango or sell Salah to Gordon and bench Dango. I got all my chips. I think I would just play Dango. I think that's completely fine. I don't think I would make any moves. Like I said, I'm just benching Salah. He's injured for this week. I've got Enzo off my bench coming in. I'm happy with that. I'm fine with that. Yeah. I can't remember if Robinson's been playing games, so I'm going to say yes. And there are plenty of other better, like Tete, I think is playing pretty decent minutes. Bassi, Anderson. There's nobody like expensive that you really need to go for. Yeah, like they're all roughly the same price and roughly similar for points per game. Have 0 Fulham and Newcastle, so buy a defender from who? I personally probably would go for a Fulham defender than a Newcastle one. I just think with derbies, there is always something going off. So yeah, Enzo or Palmer. I mean, Palmer's got penalties, so you probably go with Palmer, right? If I've got unlimited budget to do that, I would rather have Palmer in here than I would Enzo. But yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? Do keep your questions coming in the chat, guys. We'll have to have a look with some of the predicted lineups. I'll have a look if FPL Meerkat's done his ones. Looking at the poll, Bruno Fernandes at 69% in terms of effective ownership for this, in terms of the captaincy poll already. Get your votes in if you are thinking about going any other way. Wilson at 25 as well. Both these guys, like I reckon Wilson's probably going to be about 80 to 90% effective ownership. Bruno very easily could be about 180. Yeah, Bruno could easily be about 180, I reckon. It's going to be a high week, I think, for Bruno. This is the thing. It's scary because I do think Harry Wilson is a very valid option to go for this week. I still have Sanchez as my keeper. Do you think he's a sell? I think he should be fine for this week. Reading some of the press conference comments, I think he should actually play this week. I might have missed your reply, sorry. If I did, I'm upgrading Mark Gui to Raul or DCL. What are your thoughts? Raul could be tasty. He could be tasty. He's on penalties. Great fixture. Problem is minutes. And I think that is the problem with him. DCL I like. I do like DCL and think, you know, he probably still takes the penalties. Is a very, very good, reliable asset as well and will play very good minutes. So I think probably DCL is the more secure in terms of minutes. But Raul, it would be chasing upside. And I think for this week, if you're going to wildcard next week, I think I'd take the 1 week punt in Raul Jimenez. I really would. Yeah. Good afternoon, sir. One transfer in for the rest of the season. Cash, Tete, Gusto, Delo, Anderson, Ped, Porro. Oh, my days. I can't remember who doubles out of all of those, but I personally would be looking for the teams that are going to double over the next few weeks, if that is why you're asking me for the rest of the season, because a lot of those guys won't double for the rest of the season. So, yeah. Welbeck, not for me this week. Might be a popular pick on the wild card if Brighton get their double in. Hello, Tom. Rodgers for Gordon and Richards for Chow. Again, Rodgers and Gordon, I could very easily see Morgan Rodgers doing something this week. I know he's been very, very disappointing, but he could turn up. He very easily could turn up this week. Again, do I think it's worth the free? It's a very much a luxury move, and I think for me this week, I personally would be trying to avoid as many luxury moves as possible. I think the play should be just sit on your hands, get through this week, and then, of course, you know, take as many transfers in, like, through all that. That's personally what I would do. Ben Sesko. I mean, does he start tonight? And Buemo's been a bit crusty recently. I reckon he starts again tonight, but probably plays about 70. Probably does play about 70 minutes. I probably would go Semenyo to Gordon rather than O'Reilly to Chow for me. Yeah, Gusto could, but again, they might not double. So what's the point? And the Chelsea defense has been absolutely, like, just terrible for weeks and weeks and weeks. Martinez or Kelleher? Ooh, that's a good one. I can't actually remember who's the better side for projected clean sheets there. That is the wrong slide. It's this one. Here it is. So where are we at? Kelleher's at 24. Who was the other one? Martinez from Villa. 30. I think you go Martinez then for the 6% gain there, to be honest. I think Palmer and Gordon is going to be very, very similar in terms of predicted points. So which one would I go for? Genuinely, it's one of those, isn't it? Both are penalty takers. I think Gordon playing out of position probably gives him a little bit more credence, but I would say that I feel a little bit more confident in Palmer's minutes than I do Anthony Gordon's minutes. So that is probably where I would go on that one. I have 8 million in the bank, bro. I mean, it was right about Haaland. It was right about Haaland. Hi, Tom. Absolutely love your point of view. I have three free transfers and only 9 players playing. Should I do Richards and Lewis Miley to Gordon and Rodon, or should I go for Chow and Stack/Anderson? I have Wilson. I probably would go with Chow and the Stack option. I like that. I do like the Gordon and Rodon picks as well. They're not bad, but I think the Chow and Stack one is appealing to me a little bit more. Hey boss, would you do Mook to Anderson or Rolf to free transfers? I have Van Heck on the bench in case Mook is still out. Completely fine. I would just roll the transfer. That would be my honest advice for this week. Look at this game week, by the way, guys. There's not a team above 2 projected goals here. It is going to be potentially, it could be a crap week. We've seen a lot of crap weeks in the Premier League in recent weeks as well, where it's been dull, bland, very cagey games where not much is really happening. And I think we potentially could get the same situation again this week. A lot of the games as well are super tight and the bookmakers can't really edge a favourites. And even in some of the games, I wouldn't say like the side is a clear favourite for me. Newcastle off the back of a walloping. I feel if they lose this derby, Eddie Howe goes. Villa have been in shocking form. West Ham have actually been all right. Fulham, like, again, it's not like a super 6 side up against Burnley. It is Fulham. They could maybe lose that game. They could slip up. United against Bournemouth. Bournemouth's home record and their expected goals conceded at home has been night and day between their away records. So this is it. It could be a very, very tight, cagey, trolly week where not too much happens. And it's very low scoring. Like we get maybe like 1 or 2 players keeping like cleans, or maybe somebody gets some defensive contributions. That could be realistically it. You know what I mean? That could realistically be it. I think it's going to be quite a low scoring week in my personal view, but we'll wait and see what happens. If someone goes big and he's very highly owned, like a Wilson or a Bruno, then of course that flips the week on its head. But I do believe it could be quite a low owned week, in my opinion. Someone's asked me about the best free hit team. I have done one over on YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, wherever you follow me. We've done one on there. If you want to go and follow it as well. But yeah, there's the betting data for this week from Rob T. Make sure, of course, you are following him, an absolute legend within the community. Start Hill or Konza. Ooh, I mean, Villa will have the better clean sheet numbers, but Hill has actually been so good in terms of points per game over the past few weeks. He's actually been one of the best players since he returned to the side, 4 points per game. So I probably would go Hill. I just think if Villa lose the clean sheet, Konza doesn't hit DEFCON. You're getting nothing else out of him. Hill, like, he genuinely would probably get 4. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think I'm at a baby shower on Sunday. Saturday, I'm like obviously doing stuff to help with the baby shower. Tonight, I think I'm watching rugby instead of football. So yeah, I'm also kind of on the vibe that I hope it's a boring week. I hope nothing really happens, but we can make good gains. Rice to Gordon, seems like a pretty sensible move. Virgil van Dijk or Malik Chow? I think I would actually probably take the punt on Malik Chow this week. Salah, Alderente, and Obi to Palmer, Thiago, and Chow. Seems good, but again, you've already used your wild card. So Chelsea could double. Newcastle could double, but Brentford won't double. So maybe a different forward in there. Like, he's got a good fixture this week, but like I said, no doubles going past that point. Should I do Nunes to Chow, 2 free transfers, no wild card left, and currently on free hit 33? I would personally leave Nunes. I think if you can get by with 10, I think you'll be fine. A lot of people asking about the Sunderland defender. Again, we're going to have to wait till 1:30 when the press conference starts for me to get any sort of information out of that one. I would personally just probably play Wilson. Let's go, my fellow Wilson captainer. I'm not locked in on it yet. We've got Wilson, we've got Bruno. We'll see. We'll see where we end up by the end of today's stream, I guess, guys. Gibbs, White, Rogers, and Tavernier. All good picks for this week. All good picks. This is what I mean. I genuinely think there could be quite a swingy week. I'm not becoming a dad. Don't worry. Don't worry, mate. I'm not becoming a dad. We are closing in on 50 likes already on today's stream, by the way, guys. So if you are enjoying it, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It is appreciated as always. Best replacement for Roofs, Leno, or Kelleher? I mean, it depends longer time. Like, in terms of a short-term replacement, probably going to be Leno for this game week, isn't it? Longer term, again, I probably would be trying to angle a double goal, like a double game week goalkeeper in there. Like a Verbergen or something like that. Already have 11, just don't fancy playing Hill, and I think Chow keeps a clean sheet. Fair. I think for me personally, though, that transfer is going to probably be more valuable down the line. So I would personally roll. You might not think United, you might not even think Bournemouth are going to keep a clean sheet, but he doesn't need clean sheets. Even when he doesn't get clean sheets, he's probably coming away with 4. So, yeah, and Malik Chow's hit rate for defensive contributions is a hell of a lot lower. Anyone planning on captaining Gibbs White? Fair. I mean, Spurs did look better midweek against Atletico Madrid. So maybe they've turned a corner. Maybe they have turned a corner. Any insight on whether King could play? We'll have a look at some FPL Meerkat predictions in a second. Usually we do the jump the wave ones, but they don't cover every single team, just the top teams. Rice to Gordon, knowing I'd like to be back on Rice later on. Sensible move. I mean, Gordon could also double in 33, so it could be a nice move if you've not got the wild card left. If you do want to put your comments in about your teams, guys, let me know what strategies you're on as well, because that is also quite an important thing for me to know. Like, if you're on a wild card, it would be great to know, like, you're on a wild card next week, or if you're not on a wild card, yeah. O'Reilly to Anderson, O'Reilly to Chow. I think if you're not confident on Newcastle, go for Fulham. Go for the Fulham defense. Like, they've got a 42% probability of a clean sheet this week. That is where my mind would go with that one. Start Elliot Anderson or Sharda. I mean, I probably would go Elliot Anderson. I think he's, again, just probably going to come away with a 4-pointer. Ekatike or Szoboszlai for a 1-week punt. I'd go Szoboszlai. He's going to be on penalties now that Salah is confirmed out for this fixture. Could be a nice week for him. We only need one more like to hit 50, by the way, guys. So if you are enjoying the stream, make sure you are hitting that like button. Let me get up FPL Meerkats. Is this the one? Yeah, here we go. Right, let me get this up for you guys. Cool. So this is from Charlie, FPL Meerkat. Make sure you're going over to his Twitter and dropping him a follow. But these are his predictions for this game week then. So Aston Villa, obviously Rogers still in there as well. Somebody asked me about Konza. Cash is in there as well. Bournemouth, Evan Nielsen, Krupi, Rayan, Tavernier, Hill and Senesi. Yeah. People asking about Brentford, Thiago, Sharda, Dango, all in there as well. Lewis Potter could be a nice defensive pick as well for this game week. Brighton, yeah, if anybody's got any Brighton players, there's the predicted lineup for that one. Burnley. Now, Fleming is somebody I'm going to be looking at over the next few weeks, because if Burnley double, I'm not keen on the forwards, like after my bench boost. Fleming could just be that nice guy we go for. He's on penalties for Burnley, has chipped in with a couple of goals this season, so he might be the one I just do select. Chelsea, João Pedro, Enzo, Palmer, all in. Question marks around Lavia and the other centre-back with Chalobah out. Everton, Dewsbury Hall. Still no Tarkowski in this prediction, but we'll have to wait for the presser before obviously seeing that, which we'll get information about shortly from. Fulham, someone asked me about King. He is in this one. So Raul, King, Wilson, Chukwueze as your front lot. Iwobi, someone said they were going to captain him earlier. Calvin Bassey, Robinson is in there, but I think just for security of minutes, I probably would go for any of these three ahead of going for Robinson this week. Leeds, Calvert-Lewin. Stack, by the way, is 4.7 million, and look at the position he's playing. Ridiculous. Rodon's in there. I think he's quite a popular bench pick as well that people are going through. Salah not in there, so Liverpool probably going to be lining up like this. Ekatike up front. Maybe Gakpo. Maybe Gakpo could be an all right option if he's going to play as the number 9. Szoboszlai quite far forward, as you can see here. Could be a nice 1 week punt here. Verge, Canate. Benjamin Sesko is in this predicted lineup, and yeah, I could see that. I think Mbeumo or Ahmad realistically probably could be there as well. Bruno, definitely going to be in there. Gordon as the number 9. Hall in there. Chow in there. Yeah, no real surprises there. Forrest, Gibbs-White, Anderson. Again, no real surprises. Sunderland, people have been asking me about this guy here at the left-back spot. Is in the predicted lineup. So could be a decent option. If you, I know a few people have been asking me about him. He is in the lineup. Currently no Mook, but again, we're going to have to wait and see on press conference comments on that one. Spurs, no Richie. I think some people were looking at him earlier in the week. West Ham, Bowen obviously in there. No real surprises there. Mateus Fernandes for your DEFCON boy. And that is it for this week, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, like I said, make sure you're going over onto Twitter, following Charlie. He is very good with the predicted lineups and does them every single week. So yeah, make sure you're going over to FPL Meerkats predictions and yeah, dropping him a follow. Jump the Wave haven't done theirs for this week yet, so we will have to wait and see on that one. In terms of updates on team news, we'll obviously try and keep you guys across it, but for right now, Burnley have no updates in terms of theirs. Obviously, if you've just tuned in, Mohamed Salah is going to be out for game week 31 and won't go with Egypt for the international break either. Tonali will be a wait and see. Miley, Fabian Schär, and Bruno Guimaraes should all return after the international break. So nice picks for some wildcards there. I'm definitely interested in looking at Bruno Guimaraes for the wildcard. Matoma has recovered from his ankle problem. And that looks about it. The rest of the times, like I said, we're going to get them through in the next probably like 10 to 15, I would say, the comments. A lot of them at 1:30, some at 2 o'clock as well. So, yeah, we'll try and keep you guys across any of the team news that is breaking. We'll try and keep you across it. Abby's just put in the chat, Golden Goal just shared in the cartel. Tete is a bit of a doubt for the weekend. Ooh. Okie dokie. Let's have a look what was in there. Again, another reason why you should definitely join the cartel. Just for reasons like this, as you can see. We get, obviously, a lot of us across a lot of different sources in terms of team news. But here is a quote from Marco Silva for people that were looking at potentially going for Tete this week as your defender. ESR has had a knockback in training in a few days. Him and Kenny, we have to take decisions on. Kenny got a knock in a finger and a foot. Let's see. Difficult to say. We don't want to rush him back. So there you go. So that probably rules out Kenny Tete as an option for me as well. But yeah, we'll try and keep you guys obviously across all the team news as it does come out across the press conferences. But yeah, all good. Nope. Haaland, Gabriel, they will not have fixtures in game week 31. No fixtures. If they've got the little dash, that means they don't have any fixtures this week. Will Mbeumo be benched? There is a possibility that Mbeumo could be benched. But again, we might get early leaks later down the line that some of the big accounts potentially could share a little bit closer to the deadline. So I think unless we get anything concrete beforehand, probably wouldn't make any moves and wait for some leaks a little bit closer to the deadline. If you're enjoying today's stream, guys, make sure you are hitting that like button. Make sure you're hitting subscribe as well. It is always appreciated. Where are we up to in terms of today's stream? What are we up to? So yeah, we're closing in on 27.6. Be great if we could hit that by the end of today's stream. So like I said, if you do enjoy it, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Let me know what you've been up to for... Let me know what you've been up to this week as well. I have kind of been on a little bit of a Mansfield kind of train this week. We got the signed shirt. If you followed me on Instagram and on Twitter, you would have saw that we got the Louis Reed match worn shirt from the Arsenal game. So very happy about that. It came. It's massive. And then this week, the EFL Eternity cards got released. So they're like signed and numbered cards. So yeah, we've been like pretty much just bidding on them and getting a couple of those in break-ins. I think we've got all of them now. I think we've got all of them. So we got like the Jacob McDonald rookie card signed, which is great, but not numbered. We've got loads of like base cards across all the other ones. So Bowery, Blake Tracy, Evans, and then we've got like some numbered ones. So yeah, again, if you want to get in the cartel, we've been speaking about some like card collection and stuff like that. But I'll post them on my Twitter when they all come and my ex. And yeah, we'll post them on my Instagram as well. So make sure you are following me on Instagram, by the way. We've hit 16,000 16,000 followers over on there the other day as well. And yeah, it'd be great to obviously chat to some more of you guys in the cartel as well if you want to get yourself signed up for that one. Did Slot say how long Salah is going to be out for? Also start Verbergen or Layman's. Would be playing Tavernier against my goalkeeper. I don't hate that. I personally would go for Layman's, just better clean sheet numbers. He said he didn't give a rough estimate, but definitely out for game week 31. And then he said he won't be going with Egypt. So it does look like it could be a little bit more of a longer-term injury. However, remember, we've got FA Cup next week. Well, we've got international break next weekend. Then we've got the FA Cup. Then we're back for Premier League. So we've got actually 2 weeks. So it could be a lengthy period before, we actually start to see some Premier League football again. Selling Haaland, a good idea. If you've got a wild card, definitely, because you can get rid of him this week, bring him back on the wild card next week. Easy, done. Benching headache, which two of them should start? Rodgers, Gibbs, White, and Tavernier. For me, probably would go Gibbs, White, and Tavernier, just because I know Tavernier takes the penalties. Gibbs White has taken penalties in the past for Nottingham Forest. I never really like benching a penalty taker. So that's probably where my head would be at. And I just think Morgan Rodgers and Aston Villa are out of form. I think the West Ham fixture isn't the easiest game in the world either. So yeah, that's kind of where my head's at with that one. Would you risk playing with 10? Yeah. If I had 10 and like I found out Salah was going to be out, I wouldn't take a minus. I wouldn't use a free transfer because I need them further down the line with my team planning. But yeah, for me personally, yeah, I probably wouldn't. I'd just risk it with 10. Currently down to 9. I think I probably would take one to get myself up to 10. But yeah, that'd probably be about it. Chow or Hall, I probably would go for Malik Chow. No worries, mate. No worries. Glad we could obviously help you with that one. Like I said, guys, any questions you do have, do let me know. We'll try and answer as many as we possibly can heading into this game week. Have you been to Worksop before? Yes. Yes, I have. Obviously, I'm from Mansfield, so I've been to a few pre-season games. I think we played with you twice over the past 10, 15 years in like pre-season games. So yeah, I've been to Worksop. It's all right. I've not been in a while, but yeah, it's all right. I would personally probably would go for Anderson if I had to go for one. Chow if you're definitely not going to wildcard next week. Anderson if you are. Bruno or Sob for captain. I probably still would go Bruno. Frimpong 1 week punt could be decent. I personally probably wouldn't consider Anderson. For me, the top captaincy options this week are Bruno and Wilson, right? Then I think you've just got like an array of good quality attacking players you could get that could go off big this week. Like João Pedro, Ekitike, Thiago, Palmer could all do quite well this game week. Would it be smart to sell Haaland now and then bring him back on the wildcard chip later? That's the exact thing I did last week. Obviously, no fixture this week. You get him back in for the double doubles. Yeah, you could be cooking. I understand your point, but at the same time, the transfers are going to be valuable, like I said, depending on what strategy you're on, depending how many frees you've got heading into this game week, transfers are going to be precious. Because if there is another double game week around 36, 37, you want as many transfers as possible because a lot of those players that will double in that week, you won't have already from wildcarding in 32. So for me, it is just about sitting on your hands, and the transfer is more valuable, and a -4 that could be the difference between you taking a red or a green this week. It really could. And I can't confidently say this week I could guarantee, like, usually there's always like a gut feel of a player that, is gonna go big, right? Whereas this week, I think it could genuinely be maybe 7, 8, 9 potential players that could go big this week. And I just wouldn't want to take that gamble for a -4 when I'm like, usually you can pin it down to maybe like a couple, right? Because there's standout fixtures up against the top 6 sides. The betting data is there. This week, Fulham could go off. Bruno could go off. Chelsea and João Pedro could go off. Liverpool, Ekitike, Szoboszlai, Thiago, Dango. Like, Leeds are first for goals conceded to right wingers. Like, that is where we're at in terms of this. So there could be anybody. Am I cooked? I mean, you do look a little bit cooked there. If we get an update that Talk's going to be out, yeah, you could be a bit cooked there, mate. You could be a little bit cooked. We'll try and keep you across, obviously, the team news, see what we get. There will be late assessments on a lot of players, but they could use the break to continue their rehab. So, yeah, Mook, I mean, yeah, it doesn't sound like we're getting a positive update in terms of Mook or Roofs. They might play, they might not. Yeah, that doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence there, to be honest. He's also not been included in the Holland squad for the upcoming international break as Roofs. I feel like if he was fit, probably would be. Somerville is out for the Aston Villa game, if anybody's got him. Damsgaard back on the grass. Yeah, there's where we're at in terms of team news so far that we've got in. That is what we have got for this game week. Could this be love? Hi, Tom. I have Aya. Don't know what chip plan is. 1 free transfer. Should I roll Aya to Anderson or Richards to Anderson? I think if you're unsure about it, I probably would go. And the thing is, if I'm unsure, I probably wouldn't buy Anderson. I'd rather buy Chow because Newcastle have a potential chance of a double in this game week. So yeah, I don't think I would. Bench Enzo or KDH. The thing is, my model loves KDH. It's so bullish on KDH. I personally probably would go Enzo, but I think KDH with the set piece share that he's got could be a very, very nice asset. It sounds harsh, but I probably would go KDH, Rodgers 15-pointer incoming, 100%. Oh, it's so guaranteed, isn't it? People looking to sell him, and he's definitely going to drop in a mega haul. This is what I said. This week, I think there could genuinely be anybody could really go off. I mean, you can say that about every week, but this week in particular, it does feel like one of those weeks where things could get a bit mental. One player goes off and that's the difference between a green or a red. That's kind of the week it feels like it could be. It could be like you have Wilson or you don't have Wilson. That is pretty much about it, to be honest. So, yeah. There's where we are at with that one. Best free strikers this week. João Pedro, Ekatike, and then you've got probably maybe like there's a good couple that could also fit in here, right? Bowen, Raul Jimenez, DCL could still be a nice option. Solanke, if he's fit. So yeah, there's quite a few decent ones. Please name the best 5 midfield in your opinion. Wilson, Bruno, Dominic Szoboszlai because of penalties now. I think maybe one of Dango or Tavernier, depending which way you're feeling. And then I guess you probably could throw in like a Palmer, a Rodgers, and you know what? Let's go with a Gordon. Gordon's going to be that 5th slot there. Buy a Wobie or Gordon for a 1 game week punt. I personally would go with Gordon for my 1 game week punt. Oh, mate, I genuinely don't know who's going to win that game between Forest or Spurs. I think Spurs look better midweek, so I feel that would definitely give them a lot of confidence. And Forest going into extra time on Thursday could be ultimately the difference. Yeah, I haven't seen the Last Man Standing game yet. I haven't seen it, and I need to check it out before the deadline. Do I think Spurs survive? I think they looked a lot better midweek, and that probably gives them enough encouragement to survive. They've also got some winnable games coming up, so maybe they could. Rice to Gordon or Mook to Chow? I think I probably would go Rice to Gordon. I mean, if you're going to be on a wild card, I think Wilson is an absolute... Like, the Wilson and Anderson moves are great if you're on a wild card next week. I also like Anthony Gordon. I just think for penalties and stuff like that. I think Elliot Anderson is probably not a midfielder I would buy this week. Like, if you've got him, great. If not, I probably wouldn't buy him because I think there are potentially more exciting 1-week punts. Elliot Anderson is just great if you've just kind of got him already because you'll just wheel him out and he'll probably come away with 4 points. And this week, 4 points could genuinely be the difference between a red and like a green arrow. Looks like a lot of people are taking -4s as well from the chat. Honestly, if you can field 10, I would rather do that than take a -4. Yeah, it's kind of one of those, isn't it, this week? Any news on the Sunderland defenders? We got no update. There are going to be late assessments on the injured players, unfortunately, from the manager. So that is unfortunately what we're going to be dealing with. No worries, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the support, guys. Let's see if we can get today's stream up to 100 likes nice and early. It would be greatly appreciated as always. Let me know what you're thinking in terms of moves. Obviously, we'll have some videos coming out over the weekend as well. We'll have one come out on Saturday discussing early transfer plans and looking ahead to the double game weeks. Then we'll probably do plenty of wildcard videos over the next few weeks in terms of what teams I would be looking to buy, what players I would be looking to focus on, stuff like that over the international break. But yeah, we'll obviously have you covered for that period, keeping you informed as best as we can. Coin flip, either play Rodgers or transfer him to Wilson. All right. Tails is you're going to keep him. Heads is you're going to change it up, okay? It is heads. You're going to change it up. There you go. Yep, that midfield looks completely fine to me. I'd rather go Malik Hall. Do you think Mook will play? I don't think it sounds great. Chewy FPL has just said Tarkowski back in first team training. Great news for those that had Tarkowski, isn't it? Great news for that. Late assessment on Lafie, Ballard, Mook, and Roofs. So there you go. Jared Branthwaite and Tarkowski are back in first team training. So looks good for those guys. I'll put that in the Discord now. Team news. Up to 9 players now. Get in. We don't know if he's out for sure, but I mean, for me personally, that probably would be enough to take my mind like away from it and probably look at other players. Coin flip to buy Chow or Hall. Yep. Heads is going to be Chow. Tails is going to be Hall, okay? Heads it is. Heads it is. Semenyo to Gordon or Munoz to Anderson. Ooh, I probably would go I'd probably go Gordon. But I do like both moves, and I think it could be very tight between the two. Buy only 3 out of 4 this game week. Gordon, Wilson, João Pedro, and Chow. The first 3. Done. Hey Tom, 12 a.m. in Australia. Just want to ask if it's worth selling Haaland to João Pedro or Rice to Gordon. I think the more sensible move is probably João Pedro in just because of his effective ownership this week. So that is probably where my head would be at. Lafie is also in that same camp. They said every injured player that they've got, there will be late assessments on. So unfortunately, nothing concrete to work off there. King is in the Meerkat predictions. I can't remember if they're included in the Jump the Wave ones. I have Raya on goal. Should I no longer buy Kelleher or shorter term buy Leno? Depends if you're on a wild card next week. If you're on a wild card next week, you could get away with it. But again, goalkeeper transfers, like the goalkeepers, I don't see a goalkeeper getting mad scores this week. I really don't. I have Semenyo, Chalobah, Haaland, Rice, and Gabriel with 1 transfer. Please suggest. I have Semenyo, Chalobah, Hall, Rice. I mean, Chalobah's injured and crocked, isn't he? So he's probably the one that would go there. Because you'd want, like, Arsenal and City are probably going to double in 33 if you're not on a wild card strategy in 32. So that would be the play there. If not, like, you could realistically go anywhere if you're going to wild card next week. Just see who you've got the most value built into. Probably going to be Semenyo or Gabriel, depending when you bought them. Chow for Konza or Digne. Nah, I wouldn't do that. It feels very luxury in a week where, personally for me, I wouldn't take any luxury moves. If your team's fine for this game week, roll it out. You'll be fine. No need for, like, luxury moves this week, in my opinion. Like, if you can get an 11 out, yeah, it might not be the best 11. Like, I've got Enzo Fernandes. I'm not feeling great about it, but I think it's a week where I can't afford to make a luxury move. I need that transfer further down the line, potentially. So saving it is probably going to be worth a little bit more in the long run. Please help me with this one. JP or Watkins for this game week? Easy, João Pedro. Would you say Wilson is the top pick to have only for this week? Yeah, 100%. 100%. Start Krupi or Alderente. By the way, I'm doing Rice to Gordon without Wilson. Okay. I would rather start Alderente than Krupi for me personally. Should I Szoboszlai or Thiago with the free transfer? Depends who you're taking out. Can you recommend a defender for under 4.7 million? Or Hill is the top boy? Hill is fine. Like, he will probably come away with a 4 pointer this game week. Otherwise, you are probably going to be looking at like a Fulham defender for a 1 week punt. Yeah, that's probably realistically where you're going to be at if you're on a 1 week punt kind of basis. Would you take a -4 to remove Lafie or risk it potentially 10 players? I would risk it. Again, I wouldn't do a -4 for that. Hey, Tom, how strong of a pick is Szoboszlai with Salah injured? I have Wilson, Bruno, Anderson, Enzo, and Rice in midfield. I think if you've got a free transfer, it could be worth it, like Rice to Sobo. He's going to be on penalties for this game week as well, so it could be a nice option to potentially consider this game week. Who is the best forward to own this week? Already have Thiago and Ekitike. Probably João Pedro is the other one you missed in there, realistically. Yeah. Would you bench any of your players for Van Heck? No. No, I wouldn't. Free transfers, take a -4 for Joachim Anderson, Chow, Gordon, and Wilson. I don't think I would do it personally. For me, I wouldn't take a -4. But if your team really needs it, look, if you think it's going to be the most optimal move this game week, then go for it. Where are we at in terms of likes? Make sure you are hitting that like button, by the way, guys. Like I said, let's see if we can get today's stream up to 100 likes nice and early. It would be greatly appreciated as always. Hi Tom, do you not think owning Wilson will hurt rank if he does well? Yeah, but you could say that about a lot of players this game week. João Pedro is going to be much higher owned than Harry Wilson this week, and I guarantee there are people not even thinking about bringing João Pedro in. Ekatike also higher owned. Thiago also higher owned. It could be one of those weeks. Could be one of those weeks. Should I sell Haaland to João Pedro or Rayan to Gordon? Do the Haaland to João Pedro one. Rayan should play, and again, feels quite a luxury move. Lewis Miley to Wilson. Haaland to João Pedro. What do you think of 2 free transfers? I like the moves. Could you do a chip strategy video for dummies video? I've watched a bunch of them and I can't understand it. Yes, mate, we can do that. We'll definitely have some chip strategy videos over the international break as well for you guys. So, yeah, we'll hopefully get you up and running. Already have Ekatike, João Pedro. Shall I get Szoboszlai for Semenyo or Thiago for Haaland? I think I'd probably be tempted to go with Szoboszlai, but again, could be great options. Hi, Tom. Best under 6.3 million to replace Cherky with. I mean, Wilson is the best one this week if you're around that price bracket. Maybe potentially, I like a Tavernier. I like a Stack. They could also be nice options as well. The update we got from Sunderland was pretty much that they are going to just have to wait and see and make late calls on everybody who is injured or like close to being injured or whatever. So yeah, there we go. I mean, Tete is apparently going to be maybe a late call made on Tete tomorrow. So Bassi clears that one. Again, yeah, we just ran through the news around Mukalele. They basically just said they're going to have to make a late call on it and decide from there. So, yeah, there we go. That's what we've got for this today. Yeah, I'll try and make it as simple to follow as possible. But like, I think a lot of it is for a lot of people where the confusion lies is because of the double game weeks and how like they're not confirmed in the game yet, but they will be confirmed. Who would you pick? Sobo, Gordon, Anderson, Fulham, or Chow? And if not any of these, I could transfer in Haaland for Thiago. I probably would pick Sobo, Gordon in that order, then Anderson, then Chow. Probably the exact order you've got there as well. No worries, mate. Thank you for popping in today's stream. Really do appreciate it as always. Obviously, we'll be live till about 2:30-ish. We'll see how things are going. Not 2:30-ish, sorry. 4:30. 4:30-ish. Maybe a little bit earlier, depending if anybody goes for it. Just did a Frimpong luxury move. What do you think? I'm not the biggest fan of a luxury move this week, but if it pays off, doesn't it? Yeah, DEFCON reliability, and Chow actually is one of the best players in the league for XGI non-penalty per 90. It's ridiculous. Rob T did a post about it earlier. But yeah, Malik Chow is right up there for it. He is right up there for it. Oh, no worries, man. That's what the point of these streams are, to help you guys out, help answer any questions as well. Can you briefly explain the potential blank game week 37? Yeah, I think that one is dependent on Liverpool and Villa off the top of my dome. And it revolves around Liverpool making the FA Cup final and Villa making the Europa League final. That, I think, is what could potentially cause blank or double. I can't remember which way around it is. But yeah, that's briefly off the top of my head. That's the situation there. Again, depends on the wildcard, doesn't it, really? I think the ideal wildcard goalkeeper that most will go for will be Verbergen, right? Short-term goalkeepers, if you need him for 1 week, you go Leno. Thanks, mate. I'm going to get Soberslai, Anderson, and Wilson in. Very nice moves. Hopefully they do pay off for you, my friend. Hopefully they do. See if we've had any other sort of injury news come in the door. Let's have a look. All right, do you want to do some? Let's do some double game week planning. I've just seen a tweet from Ben Krellin. Let's do this. By the way, this is the guy to follow. Realistically, this is the main guy to follow for any of your blanks and double game week stuff. Go to Ben Krellin. All right. This is his updated spreadsheet via Fantasy Football Hub. Can you guys see all that? No, you can't. I need to exit it. But pretty much, this is... I'm on the wrong screen for one. Help if we get the right screen up. Here we go. Right, can you see that? Yeah, okay, cool. So, what we have here is the potential blanks and double situation, okay? So, in Game Week 31, we know the situation. Game Week 32 is going to be a completely normal week, okay? Game Week 33, Arsenal could double. Palace could double. City could double. Newcastle could double. Brighton could double. Chelsea could double. Liverpool could double. Burnley could double. Bournemouth, Leeds, Everton, and West Ham could also double. Again, all based off FA Cup projections. However, those fixtures could also just remain within Game Week 33, but not be played on a weekend. It could actually be played in the midweek of that week. So before Game Week 34. Game Week 34 then will be whatever teams double in Game Week 33 will then blank in Game Week 34. So that is where I'm probably going to be using to go with the free hit, okay? That's probably where you want to go with your free hit for this kind of run. So if you are thinking about playing your free hit this game week and probably looking at your team going, well, I can get to 10, I can get to probably 11 players, but it's not the most optimal team, that might be fine. Because you look at that Game Week 34 and you go, Jesus, that is a lot of blanks in there. Again, that might be the situation. Or maybe you could go in 33. We could also get some doubles, but very unlikely the ones in white in Game Week 35. We could also get doubles in 36. And then finally, we could also have a blank game week in Game Week 37. However, again, this is all dependent on Liverpool reaching the FA Cup final and Villa reaching the Europa League final. So ultimately, there's still a lot to play for. And over the next few weeks, we're going to get plenty of information heading into Game Week 32. So if you've got that wild card left, honestly, sit on your hands for this game week. Try and save up some transfers. Get through this week and see how you get on. Because like I said, even if you wild card in 32 here, bench boost here, free hit here, you might have some other doubles that you might want to use for your transfers. So in 35, 36, potentially 37 here, you might want to be using up some transfers here. So like I said, if you've got one free transfer this week, you think, oh, well, I'll just use it this week on wildcard and next week it doesn't matter. It would then mean you would have one transfer here. You wouldn't get the transfer because you're free hitting there. Then in 35, you would get 2. So you'd only be taking 2 into potentially double game week 35 or double game week 36. Whereas if you roll this week, wildcard here, roll here, free hit here, roll here, you're going to have like 3 or 4 potentially to take into 36 or 35, right? So that's why I'm telling people, like, personally for me, I probably would go for it. Like, in terms of just getting a team out this week. If it is 11, just play with that, okay? In terms of triple captaincy, I've just seen someone in the chat asks, where would you play your triple captain? So bench boost is probably going to be for 33. 34 is going to be free hit. Is this 36 or 35? Wherever this City double goes, if City win the next FA Cup game, this is probably where you play it. If City don't win in the FA Cup, then you are probably then going to be looking at a single game week. So, yeah, that's where you realistically probably are going to be at with your team. Hopefully, that clears everything up. Hopefully gives you as much information as possible. I will retweet that. So if you go and follow me, you can go and look at the calendar for yourself as well. But yeah, a very, very useful bit of tool, and hopefully has helped you get into a good position heading into this double game week period. Let's head back into the chat then. See what we are working with in terms of questions for this game week then. When am I likelihood to wildcard? It is going to be next week. We're going to wildcard. Yeah, I'm going with it. We're going with it. Planet FPL James is also a very, very good source for this information. Morgan Rogers, captain anyone here? I mean, yeah, probably after his recent performances, not many are here. I mean, yeah, but now Minter could be back out of the side because Matoma's recovered. Like, yeah, you can go, oh, this player scored once this week. That's fine, but longer term, Gokeres didn't have a fixture. Minter might be straight back out of the side because Matoma is available. So you've brought in 2 players then that will do nothing. Haaland, Richards, to João Pedro, and Tete. Tete is a doubt heading into this week, by the way, guys. That news came out earlier from Marco Silva, so probably would avoid looking at Tete. Should I sell Rice, Semenyo, and Timber? Depends how many you've got playing. If you've already got like a pretty strong 11 that's already playing, I would just go for it, or even a 10. I personally would just leave it for this game week. That would be my advice anyway. Do keep your questions coming in, guys. Anything you want to know ahead of the deadline. Of course, we'll try and help as many of you out as possible. Yeah, Bassi could be fine. Bassi could be very, very fine. Nah. Should I even start Mook over Krupp? Yeah, I personally would. I'd start him just in case. Should I play Enzo or Rogers? I'd play Enzo. Stack to Rogers? Nah, just leave Rogers. Feels very luxury. Yeah, seems like you could make a few transfers to get yourself back up to a full 11. I wouldn't go past the full 11, though. Like, I wouldn't be making then, like, oh, I'm going to bench this player or I'm going to bench that. Again, like I've said, I feel you could very easily get by with, like, a steady 11 this week. Keep the free hit for either 33 or 34. They could do. They very easily could do again. They could do again. You are in a good position, but you need to be very, very careful with your transfers and the players you're going to be selecting over the next few weeks. Because, like I said, a lot of the majority that maybe could be a bit further back or even around you could play the wild card, could bench boost in 33, which of course is going to be a double game week. There will then be people that still have the triple captaincy left as well. They could play that in 36. So you're in a good position, but you need to probably be very, very careful with your transfers and make smart, intelligent moves over the next few weeks. Don't be using it for like luxury 1 week punts. Probably got to play it, a little bit safe, hold transfers, plan to get the right double players in. I mean, could you just go Bassey and Gordon? Bassey and Gordon would be a good combination there. How do you think Ekitike rotate again? I probably don't. I think just given Liverpool obviously lost Salah, I think probably Ekitike starts. Could be wrong, but I think he probably starts. Gordon, Wilson, Szoboszlai, they're probably going to be the top ones I would go for. Tavernier, Stack could also be pretty nice options as well. Yeah, that is a tough position to be in. You might have to take some hits for that one. I would just leave him and risk him. I'd leave it and risk it. I think you could get away with 10. I genuinely think you could get away with 10. Because realistically, right, let's say Chow and Anderson just keep a clean sheet. It's not exciting, is it? It's 6 points difference. It's not amazing. So I personally wouldn't. I probably would stick with the free. Again, like I said, a lot of people are probably not going to have the most optimal teams heading into this game week, but I don't think it matters that much, right? I really don't think it matters that much. I think just getting a team out of 11 that are very, very capable probably will do you quite well this week. I'm in a fortunate position where I think my team actually looks very, very good. There's like 1 or 2 if he picks, but across the board, I've got a lot of highly owned, desirable players this week. I personally would save it. I'd just wheel out Mainu and hope that he maybe hits like DEFCON or something. Maybe he gets a jammy assist tonight. That is personally where I would be at with that one. Rodgers or Stack. I mean, I would rather have Stack, but if you've got Rodgers already in your team, again, is a very luxury move to take him out, so I don't think I would go for it. Do keep your questions coming in, guys. Anything you want to ask me ahead of the deadline, do let me know. We're approaching 100 likes, and there's nearly 300 of you sat in today's stream, so make sure you are hitting that like button. It is really appreciated, as always. Let's have a gander at what we're working with here. Also, we are approaching 27.6k subscribers. Would be great if we could hit that. Yeah, would be epic. Would be epic, to say the least. Sell Haaland and Semenyo. Again, if you need the players to get the full 11 out. Again, depends how much value you've got built in both of these players. Haaland, I think a lot of us don't have it. Semenyo, probably people, if they've had him since the start of the season, could have a lot of value built into it. For this week only, which defender can hurt me the most by not owning them? Maybe Verge, depending on his ownership. What's he up to these days? 37.1. Yeah, not having Verge could be a big one. Like, Anderson's at 8. Like, it will do a bit, but it won't, like, kill you. What other defenders have we got this week that could do some sort of damage? Maybe Chow, but I don't know what he's... Senesi at 20% could do some damage. Tox at 11. What's Chow at these days? 10? So you might get a little bit off these 10% guys, but like nothing major, but they'll do a little bit if they get like a clean or a goal or something. But yeah, nothing major. Are you going to consider getting rid of Ekatike next week for Bowen because of his schedule, or going to take a risk? I'm wildcarding next week, so we'll be pretty much targeting teams that double in 33 with my full 11 to get a bench boost out. So again, we've been having to play around with it. We'll probably have some more play arounds with it next week in terms of that. We can look at. Would you guys like me to look at a wild card? I can look at my wild card for 32. If that's something you would like me to do right now on stream, we can do. Let me know in the chat. If you're on a wild card, would you like me to look at a wild card draft that I probably would go for over the next few weeks? Chow, Hall, and Wilson, or Gordon and Anderson. I probably would just go. I think I'd go Wilson and Chow. Yeah. Nah, this is it. None of those ownerships are good. Like Virgil van Dijk is probably the biggest one in there. Outside of that, like it's all like 10%. Yeah, if they go off big, they'll probably do a little bit of damage, but nothing like major. Yeah, people want to see a wild card. Okay, we can work on that. Yeah, well, we're gonna put it into Fantasy Football Hub. Of course, if you want to go and check out their website, will be there. This is my team for 32. Again, my team is fine for 32. Like it's not terrible, but it's not great. Right? If we optimize it, boom. But what we want to have is a team with the best doublers in for this week. 33. So Dubravka's staying. We're going Verbergen. Where's Verbergen? There he is. Gabriel's in there. I think we're probably going to go Saliba, Malik Chow. The problem is I've got to take Bruno out. Like that's the only issue I've got with this whole strategy. João Pedro stays for now. If Hill doubles, then that would be great. That would be really handy. But we probably would be going Semenyo, Nico O'Reilly, Rice probably comes back in. What else have we got here? I like Stack. If Stack doubles, he could be a very nice pick. Like, look at those fixtures. But it's unlikely. So with it being unlikely, we'll probably go Gordon. And I would be tempted to go like Bruno Guimaraes if he's fit and available. Haaland obviously is straight back in. Palmer could also be pretty much in. Ooh, we're a little bit over there. But if I went for another forward, it probably would be like Fleming. Would probably be the forward we'd go for. We got to lose like 1 million here. But yeah, Fleming could be an okay one with that Forest fixture, and I only need him for the bench boost. Who have we got in terms of mids? It's 5.9. What have we got? Has anybody got a double in that? Gordon. I could be tempted to pick up like a Saw. Saw could be a nice option. Again, we're 0.4 off, so we'd have to do a little bit of shimmy-shammy in here to maybe get it all to work. Yeah, I would like Saw, because then it would be penalty taker. I guess Saw's not going to be on penalties, though, as much, so probably rules him out. What about defenders? Is there anybody we could, like, cheap up on? Again, maybe we drop that to that if they're going to double. We're 0.2 off being able to achieve this team. Damn. But yeah, it would look something like this. Maybe no Saw, maybe another midfield pick in here, a little bit different. I don't know who we'd go for, but yeah. Again, we're gonna have all this information, so we will find out who's gonna be doubling, who's gonna be blanking, all that good stuff before obviously this game week. But that is roughly where my head is at in terms of a team structure. Lots of City, lots of Chelsea, lots of Arsenal. lots of Newcastle. Again, all could very easily change. All could very easily change over the next few weeks. Yeah, I guess it's just, again, penalty taker, isn't it? I don't think I would be like 100% there. Why is the Leeds double unlikely? It will be unlikely because that fixture can just be moved into game week 34, but game week 33's game week 34 is midweek. So they haven't got to like move the game week 33 is midweek. Yeah, sorry. So because they don't have European football, the fixture can remain within the game week, but just get pushed to like a Wednesday. Pascal Gross is the guy I was looking at. All my days, yes. Pascal Gross is going to be so locked on my team. Penalties, set piece share, defensive contributions. Get me that man in my team. Yes. Yes. Yeah, but in game week 33, we're gonna play the bench boost. I can't wildcard and play the bench boost in the same week. That's why we're building a full 15. That's why I'm not wildcarding in 33, because I want to get the bench boost off in 33. Yeah, there's gonna be a late. Well, they're doing basically like late checks on it and stuff like that. On the Sunderland players. We've had a super chat, Mr. Cleany, 4.99. Thank you very much. I've got Haaland, Semenyo, Gab, Timber, and Raya. I can't bench all. Is it worth transferring out, given I'll have to pay more than 8? You talking about a -8? Because I guess you've probably got a lot of value built into Gabriel, Semenyo, and Haaland. Haaland probably not too much. So if it's for a -8 to get like a full team out, maybe just take one of the minuses and don't take the other one. If you're talking about squad value, I need like a little bit more information on that. If you're talking about squad value, let me know. True. Yeah, you can't breathe on him anymore. I mean, Newcastle versus Palace could be a game that could go either way. Oh. Okay. You are going to have to pay for it a little bit later then. That makes sense. If you've not got the wild card left, which I'm guessing is what you're suggesting with your transfers here, City and Arsenal are very likely to double up in this time period. And if you've not got the wild card, it's going to be very difficult for them to get you back. But then where do I play a bench boost? This is the thing. I then don't have a week to play the bench boost. Yeah, sorry guys, boomer moment. I don't know the lingo with the kids anymore. Oh, you do have a wild card left and a bench boost. Then that would be fine. You could probably get rid of like Haaland this week, get a João Pedro, and get rid of a Semenyo because you're going to be able to bring them back in as long as you've not obviously got too much value built in them as well. So yeah, I think I probably would try and like not use. I try and get to 11, but try and again depends how many free transfers you've got. Let me know how many frees you've got. 1 or 2. Who should I buy between Ekatike and Bowen? Bowen is a very steady Eddie and could do quite well this week in terms of his points. Ekatike has that potential to hit the big double-digit hauls, and I think in just a single game week like this, probably would maybe take the gamble on somebody like an Ekatike. Roof's not included in the Holland squad, so probably not looking good in terms of his fitness. Again, we were going to get a late update regarding his fitness as well. I don't think it is though. Like, if this is the thing, because we've got like, if I build a bench boost that has absolutely stacked defensive contribution talents, then it will be fine because we could come away with like 20 on the bench boost easy because of just defensive contributions. So easy to hit those defensive contributions. So yeah, for me, like, I understand what you're saying. Like, my team doesn't look the most optimal for 32, and that is one of the downsides of this strategy. But getting that bench boost off is going to be, that 15 is going to be the way to go for it. Yeah, Bowen, I agree with Bowen. Bowen is so consistent. He doesn't hit the double-digit hauls, though. And this is something I've noticed. Like, I've owned Bowen for years. But yeah, he never really hits double-digit hauls. But he's just so consistent and so like that. I'm going to play without a goalkeeper. Yep, it's the lowest upside position, so I would sack it off anyway. Like, if that means I have to play with 10, like for me, if I didn't have a goalkeeper this week, I wouldn't make a transfer to do it. Tarkowski, yep, back in training. We had that update earlier. Same with Branthwaite as well, so maybe means a keen benching. All right, let's put your argument to the test then. Let's put your argument to the test, because I think for me, this is the better strategy to go for. So let's put Gross in here so we can get this team off. Right. Boom. That is that team that will bench boost. This is the team that will bench boost. Bench boost. Done. So he's going to score 57.8. I mean, his score's fine for this week, right? Oh, this is the week. This is the week I've done it here. I've done it here. What a tit. Anyway, this is 57.8 with a bench boost, I'm guessing. Or is it just counts this first team? It doesn't count as the bench boost. Okay, so it's only counting the first team, which is annoying. 65, 70, 75. Let's say about just under 80, 78%. So there's like a good selection of the points already. I just think for me, if the team doesn't look that great. Like, it doesn't. Bruno's got Leeds. Yeah, it is a good fixture. But outside of that, like, that Palace game's not going into 32 now. Like, the team just looks crap. We're going to wildcard through this. Because the team doesn't look good. We're going to miss out on value as well. That's the other key point here, is we potentially, if we delay the wildcard by 1 week, the value could be gone and we could be priced out of a lot of these players because, like I said, they are going to go for it over the next few weeks. So yeah, I'm still going with the wild card in 32. That is what I'm feeling. Oh, mate, I struggle to pronounce Premier League players that I hear every week. So yeah, I'd be absolutely terrible. Nah, my team in 32 would not look any worse, to be honest. And I genuinely don't think there's anything like stopping obviously, like City beating them or Newcastle beating Palace quite comfortably. I don't think there is anything stopping those. Would I wildcard if Liverpool beat City? Again, we'll have to see how the doubles line up. But at that point, maybe we get news that Salah's out. Is it a luxury, but I'm sick of Enzo? Should I transfer him? It is a luxury. Honestly, this week, do not make any luxury moves. Do not make any luxury moves this game week, ladies and gentlemen. Nah, mate, it's all good. It's all good. This is what this game's about, isn't it? Everybody's going to have different ideas on what is the best thing to do. I can give my advice. You can give your advice. For me personally, I just think the way that the landscape is, I think it's probably better to use that and use my bench boost chip and do that That for me feels like the right strategy to play. But if you've got a different mind with your team, go for it. Like, you could very easily prove me wrong. And that is ultimately what this game is about, isn't it? I'd rather play without a goalkeeper. Defenders can very easily hit 4, especially a Defcon guy. Goalkeepers are so bad at point scoring. Haaland to TK worth it now. I mean, if you've got a wild card, you can buy Haaland back next week. But if you've not, then probably not. Yeah. Has Golden finished up for the day? I saw he was live, and then I've just seen he's finished. Does anyone know if he's done for the day? Is Tom done for the day? Anybody that was in Golden stream? Let me know. Don't activate it right away, because like I said, things can very easily change over that time period. So again, I think a lot of the game is probably going to be quite dead over that time period as well. I don't think everyone's going to be rushing it as well. Not feeling well. Oh, brother. Oh dear. Tom was ill. Oh dear. I'll drop him a message. See if he's all right. Just dropped him a message. I've just said, "Are you all right?" But yeah, thank you for everybody that's come over from Tom's stream. Hopefully he's feeling a little bit better. I've just dropped him a WhatsApp to make sure he's all right. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Having a nap. Yeah, I don't blame him. If you're not feeling 100%, always get a nap in. Kipping. It's what you got to do sometimes. If you're not 100%, you've just got to get that bit of rest in. Sometimes all you need is just a good sleep, isn't it? Best replacements for Salah is probably going to be Palmer, Szoboszlai, Wilson, Bruno if you've not got him. Yeah, they're probably the ones you're realistically going to be looking at this week. Did I say Gordon? Gordon or Ekatike? Probably Gordon for penalties. Oh, vitamin C is the best thing since sliced bread. I have been spamming it. Absolutely spamming it this winter, and I've, touch wood, stayed very, very fit and healthy for once in a winter. Usually I always get colds or a bit of flu or whatever. This year I've been spamming it. We having a captaincy coin flip. We can have one. You know what? There's a good amount of you in here. Let's do the captaincy coin flip. Heads is going to be for... Let's do it. All right. Let's do it. Let's get a drum roll going. Heads is going to be for Wilson. Tails is going to be for Bruno Fernandes, okay? Tails is going to be for Bruno. Heads. Was that Harry Wilson? Was heads Harry Wilson? I think it was, wasn't it? Heads was Harry. Do I think Enzo Lafia is going to play? I would be a little bit concerned. Obviously, the comments that Labrise made about obviously they're going to have to give late assessments on everyone doesn't fill me with confidence. But yeah, someone let me know if it was Harry Wilson was heads. I think he was. Thoughts on Richarlison, Xavi Simmons for a 1-week punt. Could do something. Could be crap. Spurs have just been so inconsistent. You was leaning to him. Oh. Maybe I mean, if you're leaning towards him, then go for it. I mean, Bruno could be he's going to be so highly owned. I mean, looking at the poll, what's he at? 65% for Bruno Fernandes, 26% on Harry Wilson. It's going to be big. It's going to be big on Bruno this week. Yeah. Petrovic or Dubravka? I probably would go Petrovic. Captain Szoboszlai or Bruno? Heads is going to be Bruno. Tails is going to be Szoboszlai, okay? Tails, Szoboszlai, the coin. Not feeling Bruno Fernandes. The coin is not feeling Bruno Fernandes. Do keep your questions coming in. Anything you obviously want to know. We'll try and answer as many questions as we possibly can. Bruno is on fire. Bruno is 100% on fire. Genuinely, it's a great fixture for both Bruno and, of course, Harry Wilson this game week. Burnley, the worst side away from home for expected goals conceded. Second for goal involvements conceded to right wingers as well. Managed to hit a 16-pointer earlier in the season against Burnley. Then we've also got to factor in Bruno Fernandes. Hit a 14-pointer against Bournemouth earlier in the season. Has been banging form on one of the most consistent FPL assets. So yeah, that's where we're at in terms of captaincy for this week, boys. Do you go for the risky Wilson pick? Or do you go for the steady Eddie in Bruno Fernandes? Because he has been so consistent, hasn't he? He's been ridiculously consistent. JP or Thiago for Haaland? I personally probably would go João Pedro this week. Yeah, I would go for João Pedro. Tom is typing to me, so hopefully he's all right. Just said he's feeling a bit under the weather. Can I have a coin flip on who to start between Thiago and João Pedro? Of course you can. Tails is going to be João Pedro. Heads is going to be Thiago. Tails, there you go. I know we're chasing, but we could still claw it back. We could genuinely still claw it back over this 7-game week period. Yeah, we could still claw it back over this 7-game week period. Because even if I don't captain Wilson, he's still going to be a player that I will get decent rank gain out of. Like, we're still going to get... So I think I'm going to go with Bruno. I'm going to go against the coin, and I'm going to go with Bruno, because I just think Bruno this week is going to be the most captain player. He's been so consistent in recent weeks. Wilson, what's he at in terms of his ownership? He's at 25, right? I reckon his effective ownership will probably be about 80%. Realistically. Maybe a little bit higher. Maybe around 90. But I just think, like, if we do this, I don't really see many people touching our rank this game week. I really don't. I really don't see, like, too many players affecting our rank. Because João Pedro is the other highly owned one. We've got Verge, who's very highly owned. Ekatike, Thiago, all very highly owned. Maybe Palmer does a little bit, but I don't think he's that high, is he? So, yeah. Who am I missing that could be highly owned? Rodgers, but I think his ownership's plummeted. Gordon's below 10%. Malik Chow, like, I think as long as there's no Newcastle clean sheet, could be rocking this week. You know. Is Chow a good transfer target for O'Reilly after a disaster game? He's still a very good option, I think. I know they got tore apart at Barca, but Barca are a very, very good attacking team. Gordon, but I don't think his ownership's too high. Again, I think he's around 10%. So if he goes off, like, he'll do a bit, but he's not like a, Palmer 18. Kelleher could be the big one. Kelleher's quite highly owned. I know that one. That one made me laugh, that one. Gordon Cap, says someone in the chat. Take Richards or Gahey out as a defender. Depends who you want to go and buy, isn't it, really? It depends what value you've got built into them. I imagine for most people, Richards, not a lot of value is built into him. Sobbo or Gordon. I really like both. I think Gordon just playing as the false 9, though, probably gives him enough to go with him as the pick. Yeah. If you're enjoying today's stream, guys, make sure you are hitting that like button. Make sure you're hitting subscribe as well. It is always appreciated. We're on that road to 30,000 subscribers before the end of the season. I don't think it's going to happen, but we will get very, very close. And then, of course, there will be World Cup content. You know me. Never a break. We're straight back into it with World Cup content. So, yeah. We'll get that game going. There'll be some fun streams for that one. Some fun video content as always on the channel. And we always get decent growth out of like the games like that. So yeah, looking forward to it. Sell KDH to Gordon. KDH is absolutely loved and adored by my model, by the way. If anybody does want to have a look at some model picks, we can do some of these. Let me bring it up. So yeah, here's the model for this week then. Again, if you want to come and get access to this, it will be available in the FPL Cartel. That is where we do team reviews as well. So if you want to come and get your team reviewed by me, it will be in the FPL Cartel. Or head over to the model section as well, and you can come and, of course, have a gander for yourself in terms of what players are predicted to do quite well. But yes, a few people have been asking about Dewsbury Hall. 4.8 on the predicted points for this week. Above Anthony Gordon, above Palmer, above Chow. Like, maybe the model's tweaking a little bit, but really does like Dewsbury Hall for this game week. João Pedro up there. Rogers, if you people are thinking about selling him, of course, could also be a pretty tidy option for this game week. Salah's obviously out injured now. Wilson and Bruno. Bruno tops the model. I think he tops Review's model. I think he tops Solio's as well. Let me have a look. Is he top of Solio's model for this week? I think he is. I think he is top of Solio's. Yeah, he tops Solio's. He tops Review's. He tops, obviously, my model as well. So, yeah. If there's anybody with any kind of, 50-50 decisions, let me know in the chat. Obviously, Wilson, probably the higher predicted for this game week as well. But, yeah, if anybody's got any. Lewis Hall or Chow. Yeah, we can have a look at those for you. Lewis Hall. And then Chow. So, actually has Chow coming out way ahead here. So, yeah, Chow is the one to go for. Tweaking. 120 on the M-way speeding. Bit of David for you there. Went and saw Dave on Monday night. He was very good. Went with Matcha Mills. Was a decent little gig. Wore our PSG tops. Happy days. In terms of positions then for this game week, obviously let's take a look at each position. So goalkeepers, top for this week is Martinez, second Pickford, third Kelleher, Sanchez, Alisson, Petrovic, all these guys on like the similar-ish points. For defenders for this week, Malik Chow tops the list. Tarkowski, if he is fit and available, looks like a pretty nice option. Christian Romero at 4.5. I think he's suspended, though, for this week. Senesi could also be a nice option. Livermento's out. Keane probably dropped. Cash, if he is fit and available, could also be tasty. Canate. Chalaba's out. Van Dijk at 3.9. Van Heck, like, by the way, at 3.9 is ridiculous. But yeah, there we go for the defenders. Tete, by the way, some people are looking at him. Looks like he could be out for this game week as well. In terms of midfielders, then, let's bring up the midfielders for this week. Obviously, Bruno. Salah's now out. Rogers, Dewsbury Hall, Palmer, Anthony, and Dye. Stack, who we've been speaking about in today's stream as well. And Buemo, I think, could be maybe a bit of a rotation risk. Tavernier. Pascal Gross, by the way, a very, very steady Eddie, who is he's going to be a player I think I'm going to be looking at on the wildcard. Will Sobbo's points go up with him on penalties? Yes. So he doesn't feature on here, but of course that doesn't have the penalty. So it adds 0.5 on my model for penalty takers. So that would put him up to 4.3, which would put him here. Forwards, João Pedro, Thiago, Raul Jimenez, Bowen, Calvert-Lewin. Solanke is a differential pick. Wouldn't personally go near Watkins. The model absolutely hates Ekatike because his points per game are trash. But yeah, there we are in terms of picks. Sesko, a few people have asked me about, but again, I think his minutes could be a bit dicey, but he's not been too bad for points per game so far this season. Let's head back to the stream, see what we've got. Where is Verts? Good question. Where is Verts? I will pray for you. Right. I think I've sorted it. I think we're back. Let me know if we're back in the chat. Boomer Tom returns. Literally, I picked up the coin, pressed on my computer, and it crashed it. So hopefully we're back. I think we're back. That was stressful, but we are back. Yeah, we're back. Apologies, guys. Apologies. We are back. Resurrection, it's a miracle. I'm here. We're approaching Easter, so yeah, there we go. Yeah, we are back. Apologies, guys. Apologies. The computer just completely, I don't know what happened with it. It just like shut down, didn't it? But yeah, we're back. Don't worry. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Who joined? Someone joined. We've got a super chat. Thanks for the inspiration. Good luck this game week. Cheers, man. Do appreciate it. Apologies about my computer turning off, guys. We are back now. So yeah, make sure you're hitting like if you haven't already. Make sure you're hitting subscribe. Apologies about the computer just randomly turning off. Get your questions in. We'll try and answer as many as we can. As always, you know the drill. We're closing in on 27.6k subscribers as well. Verts. The Verts just did it, didn't he? Rice to Gordon, no-brainer. Yeah, probably. Best replacement for Goodmanson, Juve or Rodon? Probably Rodon. -4 to get Wilson in for Dewsbury, mental. Yes. Midfield replacement for Rice for next 2 free game weeks. I already have Semenyo, Dango, Wilson, Bruno. Probably Anthony Gordon then if they double could be a really nice option to go for. Yeah, there we go. That was weird. I've never done that, by the way, before. Usually when my streams go, they completely go and I have to start a fresh stream. Never have I been able to before just like come straight back into it. But we were able to today, so happy days. Vicario apparently is absent due to training. So people that are going for like Morgan Gibbs White could be absolutely feasting, by the way, here. Apparently Kinski could be back in goal. So yeah, there we go. Yeah. Kinski could be back in goal. What could we about to be witnessing? Mook, the Sunderland news is they're going to have to make some late decisions on players' availability. That's all we got from their press conferences. And Puemo or João Pedro? I'd rather have João Pedro this week. Who would you want to pick between Cash and Chow? Do you want to have a look at some team news? Let's have a look at some team news. Let's go for some team news. Oh, I have nothing up. I've just forgot. I've got absolutely like nothing up to look at team news or anything like that. Hopefully that has clicked back in. Here we go. Oh, okay then. Genuinely, I have no idea what's going off with my computer. It's just flipping screens now. It's just flipping between screens and stuff. It's going mental today. It is going pretty mental. Right, this is what we got in terms of Team structure then. Jesus, I don't know what's going off with today's stream. It's going mental. Urian Tielemans will be assessed ahead of the clash. Matty Cass and Emi Buendia recover, so they will feature. West Ham, Somerville is going to miss out for this game. So yeah, no Somerville. David Moyes is hopeful that James Tarkowski and Jared Bowen will be in and around the squad for game week 31. Both are back in first team training as well. Labrise would only rule out one player. All the other ones, so Mukulele, Roofs, Ballard, Enzo Laffy, all uncertain to feature on Sunday. Could also bode well for Gordon picks this, by the way. Yeah, could also bode quite well for the Gordon picks. If Anthony Gordon is off, then yeah, it could be decent. Emil Smith-Rowe has returned to training with late decisions needed on him and Kenny Tete. I think a few people were looking at Kenny Tete, so again, there's another one. Spurs, Solanke, and there was rumours going around on Twitter about maybe Vicario out. Brentford, Mikel Damsgaard is on the grass and will be assessed. No new injury concerns for any of the Burnley players. And obviously Mo Salah's out. So that's all the ones we've got for today. And yeah, we'll see. Mate, I am going anywhere near my computer. I'm not touching the computer again. We'll have to delicately, there we go. All right. Heads is we're going to do it. Tails is we're not going to do it, okay? Tails is we're not going to do it. Put the coin delicately away there. Any news on Talk? Yep. We just went through the team news. There was some news update on Talk. He's back in training, but there's going to be a late call made on it. I think there's not much upside in the Goodmanson to Rodon one, so I'd be more likely to take like a 1 week punt if I was going to do a move there. That personally would be for me. Will I be activating it tonight? No. We will be assessing what happens over the FA Cup and the international break and stuff like that. So, yeah, there we go. If I want a new striker, should I get Thiago or Bowen? Who should I remove? I have Ekatike, João Pedro, and Haaland. Well, I mean, it depends when you wildcard him, really. Yeah, that's all I can really say on that one before obviously recommending the player. I need to know if you wildcard in next week or you've still got it available. Gordon or Rodgers or Szoboszlai. I think for me personally, Szoboszlai is a great punt. Liverpool could also double in 33 if you've not got your wild card. Same with obviously Newcastle and Gordon on penalties. So those two rank higher than above Rodgers for this week. Who for Salah? I have Rodgers, Bruno, Dango, Wilson. Szoboszlai? Genuinely? Szoboszlai could be the one. Yeah, Sobo could be the one that you want to go for there. Yeah, that could be the one. Gabriel for Virgil, worth it for a -4? No. Just going to say that one flat out, no. Hill versus Senesi and Van Heck versus Hall. Currently have Chow, then just go... Like, Hill and Senesi are fine. I think Hill for the budget is perfectly great. Van Heck versus Hall, I mean, depends when you're going to wildcard because Van Heck is also pretty decent for this week. He probably will get defensive contributions out of the Liverpool game. Bringing Gordon or Palmer for a hit? No. Ekatike or Pedro if I wildcard next week? Both could double in 33, so both could be pretty decent options. I probably for this week would rather have João Pedro than Ekatike. I mean, yeah, it's fine. It's fine if you've got the wild card. Like, they're good picks for this week. I think if I could have made do, though, I probably would. Bournemouth are strong at home. Yeah, Bournemouth are very strong at home. They're not a bad side at home. Again, over the next 2-3 weeks, it's hard to say because, again, it's all going to be based off what double game weeks we get. Best striker below 6.3 million for the rest of the season. Calvert-Lewin. If Leeds double in 33, Calvert-Lewin. I'm really struggling to see another foot. Maybe it's Fleming. Welbeck. Yeah, there's probably where you're about. Is Enzo Lafie starting? If not, should I take a -4? There's going to be a late call made on Enzo Lafie. I personally probably wouldn't do it for a -4 to get Wilson in. But again, it depends on your own risk appetite and desires for your teams and stuff like that. I'm hesitant to captain Bruno. I'm captaining Wilson instead. Fair enough. Like I've had it on Wilson for a bit, purely because he's been in all right form. Burnley as well are second for goals conceded to right wingers as well. And if we do look at Bournemouth's recent record, right? Let's get the Bournemouth games up. As you can see, they've been stalwart. Like they've been on a really good run. When was their last loss? Their last loss was in game week 20, by the way. Look at this run. This run has been insane, by the way. They're not conceding a lot either. 0-0, 0-0, 1-1, 0-0. 3 clean sheets in the past 4 game weeks, by the way, here. Yeah, they've been consistent. They've been consistent. Maybe we're gonna go back again. Maybe Bruno isn't the guy this week. I don't know. I'm still umming and ahhing. I just think if I go Bruno, like Wilson will be below 100% effective ownership, so we're gonna get gains out of him anyway. And it might be just one of those weeks where we do play it a bit safe. We do play it a bit safe. And that is the play we go for. Coin flip. Should I captain Szoboszlai? Differential. We did a coin flip earlier between him and Bruno, and Szoboszlai actually came out on top on that one. So yeah. If you're enjoying the stream, make sure you're hitting that like button. It is greatly appreciated as always. I mean, how many has he hit away? How many has he hit away? Let's have a look. What's his hit rate been away? 8 are against Newcastle a few weeks ago. 5 against Arsenal. 7 against Burnley. I mean, an 18-pointer against Wolves. An 11-pointer against Palace there. Forest 5. Spurs 5. Liverpool 8. -1, but obviously he missed that penalty, so that could have been a decent one. 2, I think the Fulham one as well. Where was the Fulham one from earlier in the season? Where he only got like a handful of points. Where's that? We skied it into the... I can't see it. Am I blind? You got a 10 there? Oh, there it is. That could have also been a pretty big haul. I think I'm just going to stick with Bruno. Look, my logic is... I think Wilson could be a great differential shout this week. I really do. But I think I'm going to stick with Bruno Fernandes. He's been so consistent in recent weeks. His effective ownership will be ridiculously high. So I think I'm going to go with that. I wouldn't personally risk it. I just would leave it. Yeah, I just would leave it. So yeah, I personally would just leave it. Coin flip to who to transfer in, Igor, Thiago, or Bowen. I mean, personally for me, I'd go probably maybe Thiago for this week, but Bowen is a very solid pick. Heads is going to be Bowen. Tails is going to be Thiago. Tails, there you go. Why not Gordon? I mean, I could go and get Gordon, but it does feel quite a luxury move if we wanted to go and get him this week. So that is why we're not going for Anthony Gordon. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I think if you can get away with just putting 11 players out on the pitch, you're going to be fine for this week. You are going to be fine for this week. Best defender for this week is probably Anderson, then maybe like a Malik Chow. I brought Chow and Gordon for 2 free transfers. Is Wildcard 32 still a good option? Depends what teams we get through. But yeah, wait and see. Maybe. We'll probably maybe get some leaks, but we'll have to wait and see. Do the opposite of what the coin said. Yeah, the coin has been a bit crap this season. It said go Wilson, so I'm going Bruno. Cunha or Szoboszlai for game week 31, 32, and 34. I mean, Sobo all the way. If Liverpool beat City, then I'd rather have him. I think he's a good player for this week with penalties. Again, though, it's all dependent on if then Liverpool go out of the FA Cup if he's available for 34. So, yeah, there we go. Yeah, we've had all the press conferences. Yeah, we can do a coin flip for that. So, tails is going to be for Anderson. Heads is going to be Malik Chow. Heads, Malik Chow. There we go, sports fans. There we go. Sounds like you prefer Jared Bowen, João Pedro over Bowen this week. Yeah, I do. Look, Bowen is a very solid asset. He really is. DEFCON, penalties, he is a good asset. But he doesn't have the double-digit haul in him. I feel like João Pedro could do something this week. I'm hopeful anyway. Nah, Gordon playing as the number 9 with penalties just out-clears every other player in that Newcastle side. Yeah, just clears it really, doesn't it? Sell Tavernier or Mbuemo for Wilson. I'd rather sell Mbuemo. There are some team lineups that don't have Mbuemo in, so yeah, he probably would be the one I'd rather get rid of this week. Tavernier's on penalties as well. Like, you never know when the penalty taker is going to go off. Watch this be the week. Genuinely watch this be the week he goes off. I guess if you're going to be doing that, then yeah, you probably want to go for Bowen. Again, it's all dependent on people's like strategies, isn't it? It is quite hard to give sometimes advice when I don't know people's strategies. I took a -4 from Mbuemo to Wilson and Mook to Chow. Fair. Hopefully it works out for you, mate. I do feel like a lot of people potentially sitting on their hands this week could actually probably do quite well. And Mbuemo finished fasting so he could haul, maybe. Or maybe they give him the day off. Today's Eid, right? Today is Eid. Yeah, I think Wildcard 32 is probably the go-to strategy. But yeah, today's Eid, right? So maybe they give him the day off or bench him or you know what I mean? I'd just risk it with no bench cover, mate. Gardner's a fine start. He's got set piece share. He'll probably come away with defensive contributions as well. So sell Tavernier or Mbuemo. We did that one already. We said sell Mbuemo. Oh, mate. I don't know how he's made it. This is the thing with players like this. They always just do, don't they? You just end up with crab sticks that just sit in your team for like forever, don't they? No, I don't play football. I'm crap at football. Like if you watch me play football, I'm terrible at it. But I like fantasy. Obviously, I can talk about football. I watch a lot of football. Thoughts on the Barca Newcastle game? It was good. It was a great game, wasn't it? I had Rafinha and Yamal in UCL fantasy, which was very good. Yeah, we had a good week in UCL fantasy, so I enjoyed that. I don't mind those moves. I don't mind those moves. Yeah, Rogers probably would have been another one if I didn't move for Salah last week. Would have just been another one where it's just like, how's he been in here? Captain Rogers? No, I don't think so. I personally wouldn't do that. Oh mate, I can't. I love watching it. I love obviously playing fantasy games around it, like building up collections and stuff like that. Like this week, I think I said it earlier in the stream. We got behind this green screen here. Now is my match worn Louis Reed shirt from the Arsenal game. I'm in love with it. And the EFL, what are they called? Eternity cards got released this week. So I've been buying in on break-ins for stuff like that this week. We've got like a 1 in 10 Will Evans, I think is the best card we've got. A few like 1 in 25s and an auto Jamie McDonald. So some pretty cool cards in there, but yeah. Is it a punt captain in João Pedro? It is a punt. It is a punt, but it could very easily pay off. Rice to Gordon worth a transfer or save it. Depends, like, if he gets you an 11, could be worth the move. If not, then maybe not. Sobo, captain or Wilson, probably would go Wilson. Rice to Gordon, worth a transfer or save it. If you can get an 11 out, I'd go with it. If not, leave it. Wanna be holding you. All right. Yeah, I support Mansfield. Mansfield are my team. A lot of you probably don't even know who Mansfield are, but yeah, they are my team. So yeah. Higher, should I start Ekitike or Dango this week? Interestingly, Leeds are the worst side for goals conceded to right wingers. So Dango could have a good week. Dango genuinely could have a good week. Enzo to Gordon, I don't hate it, but again, it's one of those weeks where I think just rolling through and not doing anything daft is probably the right play. It probably is the right play, isn't it? Yeah. Do I like Chesterfield? I hate Chesterfield, mate. Chesterfield are the worst. I probably captain Bruno ahead of Ekitike. For me, I always like to captain a penalty taker as well. I think it is just one of those things that I always do like to look for. Sell Timber and Rice to Gordon Anderson or Rice to Gordon and Rogers. I probably prefer the first option. They haul in the UCL. It is always frustrating. The good thing is, I play a lot of the other games, so it does get nice. Right, let's we've had some teams sent over on the Discord, so let's go and take a look at those for review. Of course, if you want to come and join the FPL Cartel Discord, get yourself in here. This is where you can get your team reviewed by me. And I've not got the Discord open. Let me get that open a second. And I need cock. And nothing's loading. Good. Right, let's have a look what we've been sent in. We did that one. All right, Dave, how's the team? I've spring rolled. Yeah, makes sense. I think we ran through this one with the model earlier in the week, didn't we? And we said, yeah, probably quite an easy roll. Yeah, easy peasy that, mate. Easy peasy. Big up Dave, though. Big up David. But yeah, easy roll that one, mate, innit? Easy roll. Hello, is Tarkowski out? Should I keep or... I'd just keep him and hope that he plays. It sounded encouraging from Moyes that he might play. Like, they're hopeful that he can play. So, yeah, I'd personally do that. If you want to join the Discord, the link is here. Yeah, he could be because, of course, Chelsea could double in game week 33. Bit of a clash, but I think he'll probably have the better ones. Timber or Hall to Anderson. I'd probably go Anderson. I wouldn't recommend using the free hit this week. You either want to use it in double 33 or blank 34. Yeah. Richards or Mook to Chow. I probably would do Mook if there's doubts around him. -4 to getting Wilson. I probably wouldn't do a -4. I don't mind the Gibbs White pick. I don't mind it at all. Right, we are closing in on 150 likes on today's stream, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. If you do, of course, enjoy any of the content that you see, make sure you're hitting that like button. It is always appreciated. Have wildcard and free hit best weeks to use them. Wildcard next week, then free hit in 34 for the blank. Bench boost in 33. That is probably the go-to strategy. Rice to Szoboszlai or Haaland to Ekatike. I would prefer Rice. I think on penalties he could be, I think that would probably be the one I would go for. Should I take a -8? Probably not, mate. Probably not. I wouldn't suggest taking a -8 this week. Do I think Jimenez starts? Yeah, I think he does. Have we got the jump the wave predictions? Let me have a look. If we've got the jump the wave predictions. Let's have a look. Jump the wave. No, nothing from jump the wave yet, but we'll have a look if we get them before the deadline. Oops, just hit my mic. Take a -4 for Goodmanson or start with 10. I'd probably just start with 10. My phone's just buzzing for no reason now. But yeah, I probably would just start with 10. Do, 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 do. Now that you will understand things, because I like to know if you're as lonely as I am. 1 free transfer option: roll with 10. 2 Munoz to Chow. Option 3 Salah to Gordon. If I was going to do any, it'd be 1 or 3. Yeah, I think you could get away with doing those moves. What to do if 5 players are blanking? Better hope you've got some transfers. Either that or you probably are going to use a free hit. No worries, man. No worries, man. Thank you for being here. Really do appreciate it. Best of luck this game week. Palmer or Bowen for a free hit team? Probably go Palmer. Probably going to be looking at a -4 then, mate. Yeah. Should I bench Dango or Mbuemo? I am like Harry's just tweeted it as well, saying there's doubts around Mbuemo tonight. I'd be tempted to bench him and play Dango. Their blank would be in 34. Their double, we can bring that up for you. Their double would be, where are Chelsea? Their double would be Manchester United and Brighton in game week 33 would be their double. So yeah, there you go. By the way, guys, make sure you all follow me over on X. We've got over 5,000 followers, so thank you there. Obviously on TikTok as well. We're closing on 70K over there. And finally on Instagram, we hit 16K this week. So yeah, things are going well. Do I think Roof starts? No, I don't. Do I think Mbuemo starts? I'm going to go no. I think it could be Ahmad and Sesko that start. Yeah. Is it worth it to use a free hit now if 5 players are blanking? You can bench 3, so just getting away with 2. You know, you could probably get a 10 out. Probably not. Probably not going to be worth it. Hall, Chow, or Anderson for Chalobah, please. Depends on your strategy. Longer term, I would probably have the Newcastle boys. 1 week punts if you wildcard in next week would be Anderson. And Elliot Anderson is fine. I think if you just 1 week punting it, Gibbs White could be the man to go for. But yeah, that's probably where I'd sit on that one. Yeah, I think that's fine. Like, genuinely, I think it could be fine that you get 10 men out this week. There are going to be people taking like mad minuses this week, wasting free hits, making luxury moves that they don't need to make. And I really do think we're probably going to see like loads of people on socials going like, oh, I took out Rodgers this week, or I took out this player and he's done well. Like, I genuinely think we could see a lot of that this week. Goalkeeper for me, not really. Like, it's a very limited upside position. I personally wouldn't do it. Rice to Gordon or Sobo, I would probably lean more towards. Oh, it's a toughie. I really like both of them. I do really like both of them. I think Gordon, bigger chance of a double, so probably would go with him as the longer term option. But if you're on a wild card next week, Sobo's a 1 week punt could be fun. Fulham, Anderson or Anthony Gordon. Probably take my pen taker and go Anthony Gordon. Gibbs White ultra differential. I think he's already a differential. Like, this is the thing sometimes. I think you've already got, you know, you can already have it where, you know, that player's going to get you enough gain to not really risk captaincy on them. Again, I should have listened to my own advice last week and done that. I'd have gone, Salah gets me enough gains. I don't need to captain him. And I've kind of gone back to my route this week is Bruno will do me damage if I don't captain him. If I captain him, at least I've got that covered off. Wilson is probably going to be, I would say, maybe around 80 to maybe 90% effective ownership. Yeah, it does feel nice to have an 11 and not have anything to really worry about. Where's Szoboszlai in my team? Not been in here for weeks. Since his suspension, he's not been in here. Yeah, so if I've saved 2 free transfers this week and I'm going to get them back after the WD. What do you mean WD? We've had another team sent in for review, so let's go and take a look at that. I've clicked the wrong one again. It's your boy 065. All right, what's your thoughts, Tom, on a 1 week punt before game week 32? I think, let's have a look at your team. So Virgil Hill, Keane if you need him, Estev. Okay, some 1 week punts in here. So you've got a midfield spot. So Szoboszlai could be cool. João Pedro, Ekatike. Those would probably be the names. Wilson, not even in here. Yeah, Wilson could be a fun one. So yeah, I think I probably would go Wilson in for Rice, Haaland in for João Pedro. Those would probably be the 2 moves I would go for. Yeah, that's probably where I would go with that as like a 1 week punt. Off the wildcard. So if you take in 2 into next week, so say for example I'm taking 2 into next week, then when I get to game week 33, after I played my free hit, I will have 3. That makes sense? Hopefully that makes sense for people. Sell Lafitte to stack or hope he plays. I personally would just hope he plays. Height on bench 2 out of Dango and Buemo, Dello and Aya. Aya and Buemo, Dello and Dango go in. There are some rumours going around about Brian maybe being benched. But, of course, you might get some better stuff from leakers a bit later on about that. Yeah. Capping Wilson, but I'm not worried. I'm not worried since I have Raul, Palmer, Bruno, Bowen, Gordon, Chow. What do you think? You would basically, if you don't captain Bruno this week, you are hoping he blanks. Which he very easily could, but I think just because he's been so consistent. Yeah, I think he's just been so good, hasn't he? He's just been so consistent. It's been unreal. So if I use 2 free transfers this week, wildcard next week, then bench boost, free hit 34, how many transfers would I have in 35? So if you used all your transfers up, wildcard next week, you'd get 1 for 33, you'd get nothing for 34, so you'd end up in game week 35 with 2. All right? There you go. I'm in the top 5k at the moment and leading my money mini league with 80 points, -4 for a punt on João Pedro. Don't think I would do it for a -4. Is Tarkowski started? We're going to have to wait and see on that one. Oh, I ache. I ache. Oh, I need a wee, I tell you that. I tell you that I need a wee. Bad. It is bad we need a wee here. Do keep your questions coming in. Anything you want to ask me ahead of the deadline? Like I said, I do need a bit of a tinkle, so we'll see how long we can go for before I end up like pissing myself. Is it crazy to captain Gordon? Again, I think Gordon is just a nice option. Like I don't think personally for me I would captain him. Because you're going to get good enough games out of Gordon already without needing to captain him, in my opinion. I'm going to captain Palmer this week. Again, same situation. Like, it is a nice option this week, but at the same time, I think I would just probably go, right, well, I've got this safe captaincy pick in Bruno here. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Again, we'll get whatever leakers we get out of it, I guess, on the Embuemo front. It's just what I have thought about. Like, his form's been out of it. Obviously, it's Eid today as well. So maybe he's been spending some time celebrating with his family. I don't know. Like, it's one of those. What rank am I currently? Terrible. I think we're like at 270 something. It's been a horrific, probably like 10 game week run we've been on. We were at 50k game week 21, I want to say. Somewhere around there, 50k, 57k. It's just been horrific. It's just been like João Pedro's been diddling us. Palmer's been diddling us. Like, we've been getting bummed like literally everywhere. Can you check Barry's minutes? Yeah, we can have a look for Barry's minutes for you. One of the Chuckle brothers. 21, 7, 16. Definitely wouldn't be going here with these sort of minutes. Yeah, they're crap. Don't bother. Who do I bring in for Gahey? Virgil, Anderson, Chow, probably the top defensive options for this game week. What will happen in game week 34? There will be blank fixtures in game week 34. So again, very similar situation to this. You won't have teams playing. There will also be bigger amounts of it as well. Any chance Pedro misses out this week? I guess likely not, since their new focus is Premier League. Nah, he don't miss out. He got an early substitution in the Champions League. So again, they're going for it. Ha! Yeah, we went against the coin, mate. We went against the coin. And again, purely down to the fact that I think Bruno is going to be well over 100% effective ownership this week. He's good. He's banging form as well. Whereas Wilson, like, I'm hoping is going to be about 80 at max. In terms of effective ownership. I don't know what the captaincy's at for this week. 66% of you are on Bruno Fernandes, 26 on Wilson. So maybe I'm tripping, and maybe I'm hoping for a Wilson blank as well in there. But yeah, 8% on other as well. Bassi or Nico Williams. I know Alex Volo is really big on Bassi from all the research he's done and actually captaining him. So probably go Calvin Bassi. Usually when he picks out weird defenders like that, they usually do bits. Do you give a mini league for your subs? Yeah, it's the code above my head right now. Code above my head. And if you want to come and join the cartel, we give away, there's a monthly giveaway, and then there's an end of season giveaway as well. Mook, they're going to have to make a late call on, they said. Like, they're going to be assessing all their players. So yeah, we'll go from there on that one. Do keep your questions coming in, guys. Anything you want to know ahead of the deadline, do let me know. Obviously, if we can help you out, we will. Two FT transfers, Rice to Sabozlai, Haaland to Thiago, or Mook to Chow. I probably would go the first two. Yeah, I probably would go the first two. That's where my head would go to that one. Free transfers, Gahey, Timber, Saw out, Wilson, Van Dijk, Chow in, like the moves. What are my opinions on the England squad? I haven't seen it. Shall I have a look? Should we have a look? England. Let's have a look. Squad. Dean Henderson, Pickford, Ramsdale, Steele, Trafford. Okay. Burn, Gahey, Hall, Konza, Livermento, Maguire, O'Reilly,
Pence, Tamori, Anderson, Bellingham, Gardner, Mainu, Palmer, Rice, Rogers, Wharton, Bowen, Calvert-Lewin, Jesus, Eze, Foden, Gordon, Madueke, Rashford, Saka, Solanke. Seems about right. Solanke's like the odd one out there. Yeah, I don't know why Welbeck's not been called up for that one. Yeah. Bit unsure of that one. McGinn, I probably wouldn't look at McGinn as an option. Probably not for me, mate. Anderson, Orton, Die. I'd probably back the penalty taker and go and die with that one. Tamori got in 5 years too late. Yeah. I'd much prefer the Rice to Szoboszlai one. Watkins has actually been getting some early subs with Tammy. Again, they've not been really performing in recent weeks. Maybe Emery mixes the deck up a bit. Yeah, Steele's such a weird one. Such a weird one. VVD or Chow, probably still go VVD, I reckon. I don't mind Raul. However, with Mooney's back, there is early substitutions. Maybe this is one of the games he misses out on. Like, we do see that happen sometimes. But yeah. That would be my only concern if I were to go for him. Haaland out, Raul / DCL in. Again, I think Raul could be a good option, but again, the minutes do concern me a little bit. -8 to field and 11. Wilson and Palmer in for Salah and Semenyo. Again, I don't hate it, but a -8 is a lot. It is a lot to claw back in what is probably going to be not an exciting game week, by the way. This is what we're currently looking at in terms of projected goals for this week. Just not a lot. Not a lot going off. Not a single team above 2 projected goals. Only 3 teams above 30. 1 team above 40% for a clean sheet as well. Yeah, I think it could be a disappointing game week. It could just be a week where getting through it with an 11 is or a 10 potentially is going to be the play, really. Probably Jamie. Probably you would, mate. Sell Tarkowski this week. Depends. Again, if he plays, he's fine option for this week, isn't he? And Buemo to Gordon. Wan-Bissaka to Chow. Free transfers. Worth it. Wan-Bissaka one feels quite... They do feel quite luxury moves, so probably not in my opinion. Unless we get news maybe Mbuemo's not going to be featuring. Probably wouldn't. Yeah, I probably wouldn't go for it. Feels quite luxury. Anderson captain. Probably not. Not for me. Probably Ekatike. If you look at my model, it will probably say to bench Ekatike would probably be the one. Mook, they're going to make a late call on him. That's what they've said. They are going to make a late call on him. Which 2 strikers to buy for long-term perspective? Also, this means selling Haaland. I mean, Haaland is definitely someone you probably want longer term anyway because of the doubles. Like, City could have 2 double game weeks for the remainder of the season. So, personally, I probably wouldn't sell Haaland as one of them. Probably João Pedro if Chelsea double. And obviously, given the fact that they're out of the Champions League, if they get a double game week, his minutes are probably going to be pretty decent. That's how I would see it anyway. Come on, United League. Yeah, I know. People are begging for the United League, aren't they? People are begging for that United League. Got Gordon, Bruno, Wilson, Rogers. Who do I switch for Rice to get a full 11? Sobersley probably would be the one there. Play Verbergen. I have Damsgaard, who is a doubt. Sideways, move to Dango. I mean, he's back on the grass. He's back on the grass, I've heard. So that'll probably be about it. Willem Buemo start. I think I'm a little bit concerned about his minutes, but again, we're probably going to get a United League. Apparently, Tete is also a doubt for this week. We might do, we might not. Again, probably tune into one of the bigger boys to find out information regarding obviously any team leaks or anything like that. My name is Pink, and it's really nice to meet you. I've been recommended to you by some people. Whoa. Just an evil. Is Ekatike the ideal striker for this game week? No, I don't think so. Doing Salah to someone or just rolling? I'm just rolling, mate. We're rolling through. The Bergen, as it looks like Roofs is not going to be available. I mean, you could put Roofs in. If he doesn't play, then you're going to get the Bergen in anyway. Probably go João Pedro this week for Haaland. If I've still got my wild card left. Yeah. The Bergen or Dubravka. I probably would tempt Dubravka. Haaland to Pedro worth it for this week if I'm wildcard 32? Yeah, I think so. If you're enjoying today's stream, guys, let's see if we can get up to 200 likes. It would be appreciated. Apparently, Steele is helping the goalkeepers train. All right, okay. Anderson or Gibbs White, who's better? Probably Gibbs White for a 1 week punt. More consistently, it's going to be Anderson, though. Cash could be fine. Again, I probably wouldn't go for him. Like, I won't buy him myself, but he could be fine. Palmer or Sobo? I'd actually prefer Soboslai. Petrovic or Dubravka? I'd probably go Petrovic. Gordon or Sobo? Probably go Gordon. I think they should improve. I think they should improve. Ha, of course I am, mate. Of course I am. I don't know how much longer we'll be live for. Yeah, no worries. I can bring up the Rob T data stuff again for you. There you go. That is the projected goals and projected clean sheets for this game week. Saw could be a decent option. Saw could be a decent option. Fulham and Chelsea both have high goals / shots on target. Annoying for Pickford versus Dubravka. Yeah, again, I think for the Pickford one, I've just selected him because, again, the same logic last week. You never know when Pickford's going to get a double-digit haul. And, like, I know maybe Dubravka sneaks a clean. Maybe I play Dubravka. Maybe I genuinely play Dubravka this week. What are they at? 16. We're at Everton are at 20. I think we go for that. Yeah, we made the switch. We brought in Salah last week. It's gone to shit, hasn't it? But that's kind of been the past few weeks, hasn't it? The moves just haven't been working out what we've been trying to do. They just haven't gone our way. And sometimes that is part of the game. Look, I hold my hands up. You get you get into these positions through good planning and luck. You know what I mean? But it's one of those, isn't it? Where unfortunately the luck over the past few weeks, like I thought Salah looked really good in the Champions League, and I thought he could be cooking. He could be cooking. He could be a mega differential this week. It's not the case. This is obviously the situation we're left with now. Yeah, Tark is apparently back within training and should be part of the squad. Make of that what you will, I guess. Make of that what you will. But yeah, again, it's a little bit of luck. Things go against you in these games. Don't take it too deeply because it comes back round. It really does come back round. Like, obviously, in other games, we're having really good luck. So maybe that's where this season, that's where things go. Or next season, we get the luck. Or maybe for the last 10 game weeks, we go on an unbelievable run and pull things back around. Who knows what could happen? Genuinely, who knows what could happen? But I think the team looks pretty good for this game week. I think we're in a nice position here. I'm pretty happy with how the team is for this week. Obviously, wildcard, double game weeks will start to push ahead of some other FPL managers as well. Pick 2 for this game week, Gordon, Rogers, Wilson. Wilson and Gordon, easy. No. No, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. We could have definitely used those transfers further down the line. Who knows? Who knows? We took the risk. We took the decision. It didn't go in our favor. Sometimes that's the way the game goes. Gordon or Palmer longer term. Both could be good options, but it depends on the double game week situation, really. Hi, Tom. When is the next blank / double game week? Double game week 33 and then blank game week 34 are the next 2 ones we're going to get confirmed over the next few weeks as well. They say he might start, yeah. I personally would go with Bruno. I think you're going to get decent gains out of Palmer without the captaincy. So, yeah, I probably would do that. My name is Pink, and it's really nice to meet you. Been recommended to me by some people. I don't mind him on the free hit. I don't mind him on the free hit. Who would be the safest defender for a long term? Maybe Juve, since he's been solid. Probably not. I think your long term defenders, like if Newcastle double, Chow could be a very popular one. I would 100% risk a 10 man as well. What's the update on Salah? He is out. He's out for this game week. Is this illegal? Hey, da-da-da-da. It feels illegal. The sing-along is definitely why we tune into Tom. I hope so, guys. I hope so. We're going to wrap up at 4 o'clock today, guys. We've been doing a lot of... we've been streaming since about 1. Obviously, we've got some other people going live as well around that time. So, yeah, we'll wrap it up in a minute. It feels illegal. Hey, da-da-da-da. Bit of Pink Pantherus on the stream today. Would you sell Haaland if I'm making free moves, or should I keep him? I need a little bit more context on that one. That song is stuck in my head all weekend now. Mate, it's going to be stuck in mine, isn't it? I probably would just go Anderson, yeah. Play in Buemo or Dango, I'd go Dango. Yeah, that's probably where I'd go on that one. Salary's out. Don't transfer him in. Don't transfer him in. My name is Pink and it's really nice to meet you. I've been recommended to you by some people. Hey, do. I probably wouldn't, mate. No, I probably wouldn't sell my goalkeeper. I'm going to piss my pants in a second. Thoughts on a free hit? Yeah, looks like a decent team. Looks like a decent team. Oh, who's transferring in place of it? Szoboszlai, Wilson, Bruno, probably my top candidates. Gordon, also another good candidate that I probably would look at for this week. Anthony Gordon versus Szoboszlai is so close this week. It is really, really close. I just, like, both have got penalties. I just feel like Szoboszlai's been the better player. Yeah, I feel like he's just been the better player. Right, we've had a team sent in for a review. We will do that, and then we will wrap up today's stream. Otherwise, I'm going to piss myself. No one wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that. Right, let's head to this. 0.9 million in the bank, free transfers. Thinking of Chow, Ek, either JP or Gordon. Yeah, I like those moves. I mean, you're gonna put Hill in for O'Reilly, Justin in. I think you could just get away with doing 2, Semenyo and Haaland, right? I prefer JP and Gordon. JP and Gordon for me are probably the ones I would go for. Yeah, I'd go JP and Gordon. That's what I would go for. I'd go JP and Gordon. That's my picks anyway. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to wrap things up there. We've been live for like 3 hours. I need a piss, so I'm going to go and do that as soon as this stream finishes. But thank you very much for your support today. Obviously, best of luck this game week, and there will be content out over the weekend and through the week talking about chips, wildcards, all that good stuff. You know me by now, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you come in and join in the FPL cartel if you want to keep chatting to me up until the deadline. Get your team reviewed. We've got a last man standing competition starting this week as well, so get yourselves involved in that one. Like I said, completely free for 7 days, so you can come and test it out for your own period as well. Thank you very much, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, and the best of luck in FPL game week 31. And they said 29, 31.